Hey everybody, it is Thursday afternoon, and you are watching the Popcast Unleashed. Welcome to the pickle party, my friends. Shane, how you doing today, brother?
Welcome, all you cats and kittens. I've been meaning to say that for like several days. I was watching Grease, right? And the guy comes out and he's like, "Hey, all you cats and kittens."
Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? That's 50s, not weird at all.
Gotta love the 50s, bro. No, doing good. It's been an exciting week. We got our video out on time this morning, which was amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Considering last week we're a couple days late. So if you guys are here for Picard season 3 and you have not seen it or you haven't had a chance to check it out, but you want to see like a little bit of a breakdown with spoilers, you can go check out on our Popcast Prime video that came out this morning for episode 2.
Yeah.
But since you're already here, we're just going to talk about it anyways. So, yeah, that's what's going on. What's new with you, B?
Weird. I'm getting the wrong... not much. I'm getting my... I got to fix this. You got this weird thing going here. Here we go.
Well, let me give a little pitch for what's coming up for...
Oh, wrong one. Go ahead.
So for everybody here, let me just first say hey to all you guys. We got B-Sod, Goran Faith, Archmage Frey, David Nunya, Jeremy Schneider, Galactic Central Comment Bureau. Wow, that's a great name. Donnie Pearson and Jan Michael Sizlou, Bandit MD11, CJ O'Neill, Thomas Bartholdi. Good to see all you guys. Josh Temple. We're going to be doing the show today. We also have another video coming out on Sunday, and Brian and I have to talk about it a little bit, but it's going to be a feature piece either on Terry Metalis or one of the characters from the show. We haven't yet decided, so stay tuned for that. And then Monday, we have our other live show, the Rant show, which we've now got 2 episodes in. And last week we had Nerdrotic and Robert Meyer Burnett. This week we've got Dave Cullen, that Star Wars girl, probably somebody from the Salty Nerds, and we'll see who else shows up. But it's going to be exciting, so make sure you check that out this Monday at 2:00.
Yeah, and this Monday's going to be at 2:00 instead of 5 because 5:00 is too late for Dave Cullen because he is in a different time zone.
Yeah, he's over across the pond, and so it's hard asking him to get up at 2 a.m. to do a show with us. So we're going to roll a little early, so hopefully Monday you guys can catch that at 2:00 Pacific Standard Time.
He's across the pond, mate. I don't know what that came from.
That's like Australian. Yeah. It's like I don't know what's going on there. They're across the other pond, by the way.
Yeah, the other pond. Right. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Just a little recap. We are gonna be reviewing right away. We're gonna be doing the full detailed, breakdown of Picard season 3, episode 2, and our scores and all that we've talked about before. In addition to that, we're bringing back Fake News Friday because there is so much fake news going on right now.
I was shocked looking through, just going through the news, how much of it was just bullshit. It was so weird. So much crap out there. You guys got to be careful.
So usually we have one Fake News Friday story, and then we do Weekly Terry and a couple other news stories. Today there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Fake News Friday. So it's going to be Picard and Fake News Friday. That's what it's going to be. There's a lot of Fake News Friday today, and some of that fake news.
We got a couple other interesting things, I think, too.
Some of that fake news involving the Orville, Aquaman, Shazam, from the regulars, the direct, giant freaking robot, etc., etc.
I have a little bit of a rant about Road Doll, too, that I'd like to just bring up. We don't have to go into deep with it, but...
Okay. Yeah. Cool. That sounds fun.
Well, let me tell you, it's a bunch of bull crap is what it is.
Oh, I did put Hollywood Rant on the docket, so you can get your chance.
When you hear what is happening, you're going to poop your pants.
Wow.
With a capital S.
Wow. Poop my pants.
Not cool.
Capital S. All right, man. So, let's load up Picard and jump right into it, shall we, sir?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. And I was sitting there refreshing the page last night. Paramount's page, waiting for it to pop up. I gotta say, if you ever want to watch it a little early and you're on the West Coast, just change your VPN to the East Coast, and it'll pop up for you.
Well said. Well said. So, so you're saying it showed up?
It showed up way early because I was using it because I turned the VPN on.
So you're saying that when the streaming service drops it, they are aware of time zones.
They must be, because I got it a full hour early.
How difficult must it be for the streaming service to be like, yeah, anybody with the IP in these time zones, don't show it to them? That's got to be tough.
I don't know.
To manage.
I don't know. It's just considering
how jacked up they all are.
It's just go up at the same time. I'm not sure why they're modifying it all the time. All right. Anyways, let's rock and roll, shall we?
Yep.
Yeah, it's supposed to post on the West Coast at midnight. I saw it just after 10. So,
all right. Note to everyone else. That's good. It's good. Good little trick.
Yeah.
If you have a VPN, which a lot of people are like,
VPNs are super cheap now, so
that's true.
I actually I thank YouTube for that, because before VPNs were not really well known, and then when every YouTuber started advertising VPNs, the price went lower and lower and lower.
Well, the competitiveness also. There's so many VPNs now. I mean, I think we've advertised for like 3 different ones.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, and each one we're like, well, this one is sort of better than the last one. Oh man, this one is better than the last one. they're not only are they more affordable, but they're also getting better as the competition goes up.
Stick around after this review, guys, because we're going to talk about some of the things people are complaining about with this show, and kind of want to go through each of the points that people are kind of complaining about still and address them, because I think there's reasonable responses for most of what they're saying.
Oh, okay. And you're talking about after the review? After the review.
Okay.
That's fair.
It'll be interesting, because I mean, people want to hear what people are complaining about, and because it's like I'm seeing all of it, and it's like, okay, the good and what people think are the bad. And I'm like, wow, okay, so you think that's bad? Well, let's discuss why you think it's bad, and maybe there's a reason for it, or maybe it's just a matter of opinion, and that can be changed, which is fine. So,
sure. Yeah, Josh, if you want a VPN, most of them are good, but the ones we've talked about before are Nord and Express and
Surfshark.
I'm sorry, Surfshark and Nord, and those were both good. I think Surfshark is probably the easiest to use, and it's probably the most affordable. But Nord has a lot of features, so just go whatever's cheapest for you.
I would. It really doesn't matter. It's really who's cheapest.
Yeah, it's really what it is. Okay, guys. We got first super chat from John Burns. Complain.
It just wouldn't be a good Thursday afternoon if we couldn't complain about something.
Right? That's sort of the way we roll,
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you do not know how this works, it's pretty simple. If we like something, we give it an upvote. If we dislike something, we give it a downvote. And at the very end of the review, we're going to tally up those two scores, average them out, and come up with an official Popcast score so we can tag that episode stamped. You ready, Shane?
Yeah. Oh, and if you guys do use, I think we might have a Surfshark code that you guys can use to maybe even get a discount. So
we have a Nord and a Surfshark code. They're both Popcast.
I don't know if we still have Nord.
Oh, we might not have Nord anymore. Yeah,
but right. I think we might have Surfshark. So we'll put it in the link when we put when the video ends.
Yeah, and they haven't sponsored us for a long time, but if the code still works, go for it.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, they probably didn't remove it, so
yeah. Okay, guys. Here we go. We are talking about Picard Season 3, the final season, Episode 2, Disengage. I mean,
so like, disengage.
Yeah. The first episode title was The Next Generation. Everyone lost their collective minds when that came up. The titles are important. The titles all mean something here.
Well, and I think it sets the tone too.
Right.
It's important to have a good title. I hate all these places that always do like shows that always do like these weird titles that are like tongue in cheek or some sort of like inside joke on the set. And I'm like, come on, the titles are a part of the viewing experience.
Yeah. Quantum Leap does that. They're like, yes, far and away. Yes. You're like, what?
Remember that joke on set? We said far and away. Yeah. Name it that one.
Yeah. Name it that one. They'll love it. No, we won't. We don't even know what you're talking about. All right, here we go. We open up 2 weeks ago. Dun, dun, dun.
This is great. The music that starts out here, Brian. If I don't know, I can't really hear what's being played, but if the music at the beginning of this song, I got to tell you guys,
I'll play a little.
we're building our thing. I spent at least 2 hours trying to figure out what this dang song was. There's 2 moments in this show where there were Easter eggs that we struggled with breaking down for you guys. This was one of them, and it ended up. You know who ended up solving the problem for us? AI. AI solved it. Google. I'm telling you, Google or Bing, their search engines couldn't find it. It took an AI bot to do it. Go ahead, Brian. Tell us.
Yeah. We were looking for hours as to what this music was. We couldn't find it anywhere. We plugged the lyrics in everywhere, and like, jumping on a starship, take me on a space trip. I'm like, yeah, this song's pretty groovy. So I almost want it just for my own personal collection. Couldn't find it. Finally, I used the melody. I plugged the melody into one AI, and it gave me a bunch of options. And I plugged all those options into OpenAI with the lyrics, and I said cross-reference these to give me the correct song, and it finally gave me the right one.
Right, and it ended up being. I tell you what's interesting. It ended up being a sound that, okay, it sounded like the Rolling Stones to start. You're like, okay, that's a Rolling Stones track. Then it sounded a little like Led Zeppelin when the lyrics came in, and I'm like,
Right.
What the hell are we hearing? And of course, it's a band that I'm not familiar with. It's Star Child is the name of the song.
Archmage said it took him 4 seconds to use Shazam, like the app.
What is Shazam? Oh, really?
There's an app where you can like hum it.
Oh, really?
About?
Listen, man, my tech skills are not good. Brian, though, should have known that, so I'm disappointed in him.
Well, I'm disappointed in myself. If it took 4 seconds, jeez.
4 seconds. Anyways, it took a long time. I'm calling like 60-year-old people who like lived in this era, like were rocking this music, and they're like, I have no idea what it is. Anyways, it ends up being Star Child by, it looks like, from Clovis to California, I guess is the name of the.
I thought it was from Baby.
The album was from Clovis to California.
I see.
Which is interesting because now the song lyrics, if you look at the song lyrics, it talks about a star child, right? And what do we learn this episode, guys? Well, I guess we'll get to it, but we learn there's a star child in this episode, right?
Yeah. First off, at least Archmages, I was on the right, direction. This guy Shane was calling his buddies that survived World War II, and I'm at least I plugged in AI.
Use your resources, man.
Yeah, I didn't even know Shazam. I remember Shazam from like early 2010s, but I didn't know it still worked. To be honest,
it was a great movie. Yeah, it's all good.
No. There's an app.
I know.
Yeah, we got a super chat from Polaris Sucks. Just found you guys. Love the channel. We love you, Polaris. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Polaris.
Yeah,
we will bring you as best as we can.
Yes. Okay. Rock and roll. All right, so yeah, we get to that song, and then here we go. We got Jack Crusher. It's 2 weeks earlier. He's dropping off some. He's in the Helios, dropping off medical supplies to. I forgot the planet.
The planet. I looked up the planet. It really wasn't that important. There's like a Delta Quadrant planet with the same name, but I don't. They're obviously not in the Delta Quadrant. So,
gotcha. Yeah, he's dropping it off, and Fenris, the Rangers show up. The Rangers want to investigate his cargo, make sure he's not smuggling weapons or something, right?
That's right. He needs the Starfleet code, but he doesn't have it.
Yeah, I thought the Rangers were supposed to be like good guys.
I don't know if they're good guys or bad guys. They're kind of like somewhere in the middle, a little bit of both. They're on the edge. I know that the Fenris Rangers weren't loved by the Federation, so
yeah, okay. This guy clearly has some skin issues. He can use some Neutrogena, perhaps.
Noxzema would be great.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Some kind of maybe balm, perhaps. I don't know.
You figure they do better skin grafting in the future.
Right.
Like
too many firefights. All right, so he's delivering medical supplies, and he's got to like bribe these guys and be like, hey, here's some Romulan ale. Here's some weapons.
I like the way he did it. I actually, it's super classy, and it just shows a lot about Jack's character. Like, he sees the Romulan, he's like, what's this? And he's like, Romulan ale. And he's like, oh, medicinal. Yes, it's good for, cleaning up wounds and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, are you trying to bribe me? He's like, no, if I were going to bribe you, I'd bribe you with this. And he lifts up the lid, and it's weapons.
Right.
So I love the Han Solo-ness of this character,
Yeah, he's a scoundrel. Yeah.
He's a scoundrel.
He's a scoundrel with a heart.
A heart of gold.
Yeah. It was great. This whole interaction was great. And that's my first upvote for me.
Oh shoot! I forgot we're upvoting.
Jack Crusher. I mean, the other stuff was okay, but it wasn't like upvote worthy in my opinion. This was upvote worthy.
Yeah, I want to upvote the Jack's attitude.
Cool. I got you. All right, now we're present day.
So what we learn is real quick in that scene is that Fenris Ranger contacts somebody and says, "We found him."
Yeah.
So he says, "Reach out to the marked woman," which I find interesting.
The marked
woman.
We found him.
Right, and I have a feeling we're gonna run into her this episode.
Yeah, I believe so. And now it's present day. We're back on the Ilios with Jean-Luc Picard, William T. Riker, and the newly minted Jack Crusher, and they are in a little bit of a pickle because the Shrike is outside and it wants in.
And it wants in. It's way too big to get inside.
Also, Beverly is in a medical chamber and power is quickly failing. So time is of the essence here. So they're trying to get Beverly on the shuttle and back to the Titan before the Shrike comes a-calling. But the Shrike's like the big bad wolf, trying to blow down the house.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I mean, just the size difference, and I keep thinking of it as like prey. You know, like it's just like a little rabbit. It's gonna knock it around. You know,
right? Okay. I like this. This comes up here. I'm not sure exactly. Oh no, so it's after this part.
One of the reasons the Ilios was having problems was that they had been too close to the nebula for too long, and it fried their systems.
Right.
So that was why they couldn't really maneuver anymore. Something to do with the nebula. So
yeah, nebula troubles. Right. A lot of troubles in nebulas. If I was ever in a starship, I would stay away from nebulas. I'll tell you that right now.
Makes sense. I mean, it's gaseous. It's
always a bad thing. Yeah,
it's where stars are born. So
yeah. Okay, so they recognize that where Picard and Riker went. They're on the Ilios, and that now they also recognize that the Shrike is there too.
Yes.
What does Seven do immediately? We're gonna go rescue him.
Right.
And so I was like, nope.
Belay that order,
helmsman.
He doesn't want to put the lives of 500 crew members at risk, and they can see that they're outgunned. They already know that they're outgunned by the other ship.
Right.
And this is just a big thing with Shaw. He's really, really careful about his crew. So,
yeah, I gotta say, even if you don't like the way he's delivering the information, it's all pretty reasonable, logical information.
Right.
He's responsible for 500 people and the ship, and two yahoos got aboard his ship under false precursors, and then stole the shuttle and took off to the nebula. And now his first officer is saying they got to go in there and risk all those people and the ship to rescue those two yahoos. From his perspective, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. The needs of the 500 outweigh the needs of the two.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, and he says, we're an exploratory vessel. I love this. A couple of brass medals make them golden boys. I love the way he talks, man.
It's very colorful.
Yeah, my next upvote is for Shaw this episode. All right. And so, yeah, they're expressing they're back on the Ilios. There's a problem. Okay, we're running out of juice. And I love this because what does Picard start doing immediately? Setting up the transporter.
He starts setting up the transport inhibitors, right?
Yes.
Is that what this part? Yeah.
Now, the Shrike does destroy the shuttle, which is called the Savak or Sabak.
Savik. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not good with Vulcan names. Savik.
Well, that's important. If you don't remember, of course, Savik was a character from The Wrath of Khan, originally played by Kirstie Alley, then would go on to be played by Robin Curtis during the Search for Spock and the Voyage Home movies. Now, listen, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, this whole season feels very much like an original series movie, doesn't it? with our next gen characters. The look and feel of this show and some of the elements even of the story are going to be very reflective of those early things. We're going to go through it here. There's some elements of the motion picture we're about to talk about here in a second too. But in the original Wrath of Khan, Savik was the one that did the Kobayashi Maru. She ends up being the one to like basically help Spock get back to his as a child, eventually all that stuff that happens. That's Savik's character. So it's important. And the Federation has honored her. And you got to remember, like Savik was, I think, the second Vulcan that we saw in the Federation in Starfleet. Yeah. So you got TOS, you got Spock, and I'm trying to think back. I can't think of anybody else. And I think Savik was like the next Vulcan we see.
Like main character, right?
Like a character who's important enough to be.
She was like the first to Paul. For me.
Well, yeah, we know she was actually first, but the first one we see.
Yeah, first one for me. Like Chris, was so gorgeous back then, and then with the Vulcan ears, I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Well, T'Pol was never in Starfleet though.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So
I wonder how that worked. Oh yeah, because it was way before. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but she was great, and and that's a reference to her, so that's cool. Now,
but that scene ends. I'm sorry. So that scene ends. With the wonderful blaster beam sound that we remember from the V'ger flyover from the Star Trek The Motion Picture. It's a very wonderful sound. It was created by a musician. This is what's really fantastic. The musician's name is Craig Huxley. Okay. And he was a child star who actually played Kirk's nephew in the original series.
Oh,
he would go on not to be an actor, but would then get into music, and then ended up coming up with this sound that we've heard in science fiction. It was invented by this guy.
Oh, it's super rad.
Yeah.
And then now we are on Metalis, the planet Metalis, with Rafi, and she's stressing out because she wasn't able to stop that weapon from being used last episode.
Yeah, I'm getting feels of old Rafi from season 2.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where when what's his name, Elnor died, and she just couldn't pull herself back together, getting a feel of that, like she's kind of getting a little out of control with this idea that she can't control what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So not a good beginning of the sign, but so I would have actually given this a downvote.
Yeah, I guess me too.
If I hadn't seen the whole thing,
right? We have to judge everything based on this episode. That's
right. Yeah. So that way the upvotes make sense when they come.
Yeah, we've seen everything. We know that she gets better, but judging on this episode alone, this does feel like old Raffi, and it doesn't feel good. But we understand why she needs to go here. She needs to go there here in this episode in order to get where she's going later on.
Right, but the big problem in previous Star Trek shows is that they will hang in this moment. They will hang in this despair and this frustration as long as they can until you feel sick to your stomach and you're just tired of watching it. And you're like, this doesn't feel like Star Trek to me.
Right.
And they get really close. They're like, but just in time, we start switching over to the handler. So what ends up happening next?
So she starts arguing with the handler. The handler's like, no, disengage. Don't go in there. She, of course, because she's angry and upset, she doesn't listen to him or her or whatever it is. I don't know. Huh, wink, wink.
It's like a Mickey Mouse.
Do not.
You get nervous. You're talking like Mickey.
Do not seek anger. Now I can say.
So if you guys remember that now, if you saw it from the right there, if you looked at the last LCARs, well, I guess every credit scene has got. I think it has the same stuff at the end of the credits. But if you're looking through there as you go through the end credits, this is something we're going to talk about because people are complaining about the fact that the end credits don't change every week. Like, I guess they got that impression. And the reality is not that the end credits change. It's as you see them and as you watch the episodes, they will become obvious or aware. You'll understand the end credits as you watch the episodes. That's what changes is your understanding of them. And this, of course, is where you see this in the end credits. Do not seek blame. Do not seek anger. Well, here we see it in this episode. And of course, they're talking about Rafi. And this will become more clear as we get into further episodes.
Yeah, that's really well said. Because the end credits are so packed full of hints and Easter eggs and everything that but you don't realize what it is until you've seen it. It's actually brilliant. That's why the end credits are so cool. All right. Do not seek blame. Do not seek anger. Of course, she is going to seek blame and anger right away.
Yeah, and so Starfleet's basically determined that, okay, they got their person. It's Larock Toluco, and he's a Romulan. He's a bad guy, and this is who they believe actually fired the weapon and destroyed the Starfleet recruitment facility. So now they don't want him to investigate anymore. But Rafi's like, no, something's not right here.
Yeah, I mean, good. She has a good point though. Like, why would this guy just arbitrarily blow up a random building?
Right. And so this guy Sneed, who's a Ferengi, apparently confirmed, Toluco is the person who destroyed it. He came out and put that word out, basically, and so now everybody believes him.
So you know what's really funny? There was. Do you guys remember that Simpson episode where it said, I think it was Sneed's Feed and Seed? Sneed's Feed and Seed. It was like a business. And it said Sneed's Feed and Seed, formerly Chuck's. And that was like an adult joke because kids don't understand that they're not looking at the insides of that joke. But when you spell it out, Sneed's Feed and Seed, formerly Chuck's, blink and blank. And so every time I see Sneed now, every time I see this episode, I remember that one Sneed's Feed and Seed. It drives me nuts, man. Yeah, she's not supposed to go, but of course she's going to. She's
not listening. This is the Rafi from last season right here. The one who has a problem holding it together.
Me angry. Joe Cronin for $10. My review is Man Parts Engorged. This was a pretty cool episode. Yes.
Thank you, Joe.
Parts were equally as engorged, friend.
That's all we're going to say about that.
All right. All right, and that's it for now. We're back on the Titan.
This is a great mic drop moment. Seven goes in one more time to report that that Picard is under fire. They obviously have seen that the shuttlecraft's been destroyed, and now she's here basically to come back one more time and try to convince Shaw to do something about it. But Shaw continues to be hard-headed about it and doesn't want to do it. And she leaves him with a wonderful mic drop moment. She basically tells him, let's see here.
You could be the hero that saved heroes, or you can let two legends die, or something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that. I like her words because her words are like really good. And for some reason, my Microsoft doesn't want to keep moving.
Yeah, you could be the hero who saved heroes, or you can be remembered for being the captain who let two legends die.
Two legends die. And then she walked away. It's like, oh, dang. You know?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty bold statement. I love it. Back on the Helios, they're setting up their transport inhibitors.
So this is the transport inhibitor section. Right. It wasn't the last one. So I want to upvote Rafi's. I'm sorry. I want to upvote Seven's speech to Shaw.
Okay.
And I want to upvote this inhibitors. This is Star Trek. Okay. So using tech that we're familiar with in a situation, and it also shows that, normally in other shows, somebody else would be doing this. It wouldn't be Picard figuring out to do this. This is our captain of and he's smart. He knows things.
Right.
And so he's staying one step ahead of the game. He's showing us he's still sharp. This is the difference between Picard season 3 and seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, I agree. And because they immediately try to transport Jack.
Right. He figured out, hey, they couldn't board. They couldn't, put the beam on him and drag him back to the ship. So what's left? They got to beam somebody off, right?
Right. They're coming in, targeting docking bay. I love this. This whole thing, this could have been drawn out. It could have been, a couple old guys in a showdown. It all played very realistically. So they get the tractor beam on.
Oh,
go ahead.
Before you do that, so they've already transported everybody off. So at this point, when you show the scene,
No, they
So
haven't. No, they haven't transferred. They're still on the Helios.
right now with the tractor beam on?
Yeah, they're still on the Helios. And the tractor beam. They couldn't transport them because the inhibitors couldn't get on board. So the strike is just going to take the ship by force.
Yes.
And this is that moment that is so awesome. Oh my God, it's so awesome. And it's failing. The ship is falling apart. Life support's at 14%. What are we gonna do? I don't want to get too far and like kill that imperfect moment here. I gotta go back and find it though. It's too good.
Oh, you lost it? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't play too much, guys, or they'll
Right.
copyright.
That's okay. You find the spot. Anyways, this is one of those moments where you just want to stand up and you want to. I mean, I've seen this scene like 3 times now, and every time it still like gets me super excited. I want to just yell.
Yeah,
It's a great Star Trek moment.
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, everything's falling apart. Ship's falling apart.
Yeah, they're done for, man. They're done. So something has to happen. And of course, we didn't get. And what's great is there's no giveaway here. There's no like, we aren't exactly sure what's going to happen. We have an idea that, of course, they're not going to die in episode 2. But we really don't know what's going to happen, and they just did a really good job of not tipping their hand for this next scene Brian's about to show us.
Yeah, and the way he's smacking his mother's pod right here, he's like desperately trying to get it working, even though like they have no shuttle and they have no way out the ship. He's still trying, and then he just gives up. He's like, it's pointless. They have us. We're screwed. Blah blah blah. The Helios computers like power levels are failing. Power failure is imminent. Yeah, and the way this is great right here, and I can only play so much because it's so dramatic that if I play too much, I'll get game binged. But he looks at Picard and he goes, "It was nice meeting you." He just met him for the first time, but this is a really sincere expression, and this is like a tale for later. It was nice meeting you.
Really well said. I think you captured that moment great, and a lot of people they're going to be lost on that. It happens quick. You look at the expression on his face. It's foreshadowing. It's wonderful.
Right. It's great. And here we go. Come on. Here he is. Come on, pop in there. Don't get me screwed.
You didn't.
Jeez. Here we go. Found it. Here we go. Boom!
Oh,
Titan comes in. Look at that.
I mean, there's this moment when, like, I don't know if the rest of you feel it, but there's something that I get in moments like this in movies where the guy who you don't think is going to do anything but can do something does it.
Right.
They come around to your side, and they're like, and there's this rush of feeling of like, it's actually an emotional feeling. It's a feeling of like, that person made a sacrifice or changed to save someone else. And it's just a really great human feeling. And that's the moment I got here. I love this. So.
And the Titan looks so badass.
I mean, knowing the Titan is outmatched,
right?
This is Star Trek, guys.
This is
Star Trek right there.
That
is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It comes in, breaks and immediately starts to try to transport over the people on the Helios, except for they can't because the inhibitors, right?
Well, I think it's great because they give Jack a moment here showing how smart he is.
Right.
And so he's like, oh, the inhibitors. He's the one who figures it out. And then, of course, they get transported.
And you're right. We were talking about this earlier. Look, and I don't want to keep harping on this, but like if this was like Picard season 1, they would have just transported him out.
Right. We would have forgotten about the inhibitors. And later on, you and I'd be like, that's a bunch of crap. What about the inhibitors?
Yeah, it would have been a downvote. We would have been like, well, downvote that because the inhibitors are still going. They could have at least showed them disabling them or whatever. Oh, they go out of their way to make sure that all the threads are nice and clean here. It's very beautiful. And I'm giving this a massive upvote. It
really is. Give me an upvote for the Titan coming in and saving the day. And then give me an upvote for them not pulling a season 1, season 2 plot hole.
Okay. That's fair. And yeah, they say try now. And of course they're being aboard. Immediately secures on them. Because
that's the way Shaw rolls.
Yeah, it's the way Shaw rolls. Yeah, it's the punch in the air moment. Yeah, it's like, yeah, oh, yeah. And then we're back with, and this is actually a downvote for me. Only knowing this episode, and I'm not taking my knowledge of the next 8 episodes into account here, but it's a downvote for me because every time we went to Rafi's planet, every single time, I was like, can we go back to the Titan? Like, can we just get back to the Titan? Like, I don't want to be here with Rafi anymore.
Well, that's because you're not convinced that Rafi's better.
Right.
You're kind of, and this is a reflection of seasons 1 and 2. That's why you feel this way.
Right.
And plus the stuff happening on the Titan just feels more Star Trek anyways.
Right.
So,
and that's why I'm giving it a downvote. I know that it plays. I know it works eventually, but this episode, based on only what I know right this moment, it's a downvote. Yeah, and you know what? Someone said in the chat, I think it was Jeremy actually. He said it's real convenient that her ex-husband or baby daddy or whatever just happens to live on Metalis Prime.
Well, I will say this. There's a few different reasons, and we're going to talk about complaints after this, but specifically to this point. So it's very expensive building sets, number one. So creating him to be in a whole different scenario would be weird. Plus, here's the thing. He was as much into drugs as she was back in the day. So he's the one who went clean and she didn't. Okay. So the other thing is this is where Sneed is. He's also on Metalis Prime. So all these elements tie together. If you would have had them meet someplace else, it would have been way more expensive to do. And his backstory ties into the situation. He's now an art guy. He was here originally. So, I mean,
why not have him call her? Why not have her call him on comms instead of?
I mean, I guess you could, but she's already. I don't know. That's a good point. I guess they want to show that she's operating in this area. Sure. You know, they've spent a lot of money on this set. There's no reason. His story ties into it. I mean, you can nitpick the crap out of a lot of things, but let's remind everybody of one thing. We're still making a TV show here.
Sure.
We're going to talk later about how come they didn't just quickly do a DNA test on Jack to find out he was Picard's, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you something. That would have ruined everything.
Oh,
I'm
sorry. Someone said like.
Oh, there's a lot of that going around right
DNA
now.
DNA test. They're in the middle of the ship from like beginning to end. There's no time for any of that. They immediately lock the guy up. So whatever.
We're going to talk about that afterwards.
Well, that's a dumb complaint. I'm saying that if you can solve the problem of everything being so connected just by making a phone call, that's it.
I don't necessarily think so. I mean, I don't know. It gave a little more personal touch. They're face to face. His backstory connects with this world. He has connections to this world.
Right.
I don't see why.
I mean, maybe she was assigned to Metalis because of her previous infractions.
Well, it's where the drugs take place, bro. So she's buying them here. She's using them here. This is where they're selling them. The drug overlord lives here.
It'll make sense. Like if you're like really into drugs and you want to be, and like now you're working for the DEA in California, they're probably going to assign you to like San Francisco or Los Angeles or something, right?
Or San Bernardino. Maybe.
San Bernardino, right? Well, so if it's meth, it'd be San Bernardino.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, let's say they're trying to grab the meth trade. Yeah, well, you're gonna go to San Bernardino. This is Metalis Prime is the San Bernardino of Star Trek space.
There you go. But it's always night here, so
yeah. Anyways, so she goes and she's like, "Look, I need to meet with Sneed," and this guy gets real personal real quick. What about your baby? And this whole interaction for me is just like, I don't care.
It's because it's a pullover from Picard season 1.
Right.
It's a backstory for Rafi. So her ex-husband Jay here, he thought she wanted to meet so she could talk about reconnecting with her son. That's why he thought they were meeting. So when he learns that it's really just to get access to chase some conspiracy that got her in trouble apparently in the first place, he gets disappointed, and he gives her an ultimatum, which I thought was interesting. Regardless of whether or not you like the character or the situation of the story, it does one thing very important. It actually puts this character into a really difficult position. She has to choose between her son and what's happening right now with our story in Picard season 3. And I think Michelle Hurd does a good job of showing how difficult that is.
And unlike previous seasons, she makes the decision that a Starfleet officer would have made. And not what the previous Raffi would have made. The previous Raffi would have forgotten the mission. Okay, let's be real. No, this Raffi is like, well, people's lives are at stake. There's something going on. I'll have to repair this relationship later on. And she makes the very tough decision to save the many instead of the few. And that's really important.
She didn't make the selfish choice here.
Right. All right. And now we're back on.
Oh, I love this shot. Go back to that. I love this. I almost wish they would have stretched out just a little further with the Shrike when it's doing that.
I can't fine tune it like that, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Well, anyways, when you guys saw the Shrike come around like this, okay,
it's like a shark.
It's like a shark in the ocean, dude. Like that was such a great, well done production team.
Right. It's like, yeah.
The prey's bloodied in the water and got him right where you want him.
Yeah, it's very good. And so they take. Sorry, my echo on your mic is messing with my.
Are you hearing him echo?
My brain up. They take Beverly to sickbay, and the boys, as in Picard, Riker, and Crusher, are going to the bridge to meet with Shaw.
We get our first introduction to, well, basically he sends him to the brig. And we get our first introduction to Shaw. Or to Vadic.
Vadic, yeah.
Who decides, and so what was your first impression of Vadic when going back to the first time you saw her?
So, Vadic, and this would be an upvote and a downvote for me, to be honest. An upvote because Plummer brings the heat. Boy, does she jump into this character with both feet. And you could tell, like, her whole body, her whole being is in this character. It's awesome. Although this precise moment, the character seems sort of like comically bad. And until the very end, when the comically bad turns into actual terror, is when it's believable. But at this moment, before she's actually proven that she has no issue with killing everyone, it just seems sort of like a cartoonish villain. And then when she actually starts going, and later on, when she goes through with her threats and that laugh at the end, that's when I start to buy it more. But right at this moment, it seems a little bit cartoonish.
Well, it's tough. I mean, it's tough for lady villains, I would say, because you don't have that physical imposing thing that you get with a lot of male villains right away. So you almost need a little bit of time to figure this out. In the beginning, you're kind of like, wow, she's like, she's really not taking this very seriously. And you think, okay, well, that may not be very cool.
Right.
But you learn very quickly that that's not the case.
Right. But it definitely starts off that way. And it's because Plummer is a genius. She just goes all in. And you can see it. She's just like,
she doesn't look scary in the beginning.
Yeah, not right away. No.
Right. She doesn't look threatening yet. Well, they tried to make her look threatening with her look.
Right.
But it's hard to do that with a diminutive stature.
Well, also the marked lady. Plus, there's things that like you just don't know yet. But like, this villain's terrifying. Like she's terrifying.
Yeah, she gets there for sure.
Oh yeah. And I don't even know if the crew here is, except for Shaw, is fully taking it seriously. They're like addressing her as if she's not sitting there with the most badass ship ever seen.
Yeah,
and,
I think
with clearly a mental disorder.
Well, they think that there's still a way out of this because they don't really understand the situation either.
Right.
It isn't. I mean, it should give something away when she calls out Shaw and she's like, "Oh, Captain Shaw," and she hints that he remains functional she's surprised he remains functional considering his Starfleet psychological profile. Well, how the hell does she know his Starfleet psychological profile?
Wow, that's a good point, Shane. Holy crap, I didn't think about that.
And Shaw knows, obviously he knows the truth, and the look on his face is like, oh crap.
Yeah, that's not good.
Right?
Yeah, what's funny is another thing. Remember the shuttle? Sorry to go back to this, but the shuttle was the Savak, right? Am I saying that right?
The shuttle was
Savak.
Yeah.
Savak,
yes.
Yeah, she's like famous for doing the Kobayashi Maru on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is and they're gonna start to learn here that they're sort of in a situation that is sort of like that. It's almost like, how do you get out of it? Interesting connection, I think.
More foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Maybe. Picard takes charge of the situation right away. So he's the one who asks what she wants. And it's nice because this is, listen, Rios would have been the guy in seasons 1 and 2 or season 2, 1 and 2 that would have spoke first on his ship and not Picard. Picard took a back seat. In this one, Shaw is in charge, but there's moments here when you see like Picard can't help himself. He's Captain/Admiral Picard, period.
Right.
And that's who this character is. And if he's on a bridge, he's going to have a hard time taking a back seat.
Yeah. Now, this is a pretty gangster moment, too, when she goes, I'll lower my shields so that you can scan my ship. And when they start reading off, like, the inventory of weapons they have, it's, like, insane. It's, like, 40 isolytic burst warheads.
Yeah, the list wasn't even done, and Shaw's like, yeah, I get it.
We get it. 88 plasma torpedoes. 88.
Right.
Like, one is enough. Right?
Right.
It just goes on as 236 photon torpedoes. Jesus.
Yeah, Vadic here reveals that she wants Jack Crusher, and then she says she will have him.
And this is the first time I've ever seen this. 18 antimatter missiles. I've never seen that in Star Trek. I've never seen an antimatter missile. That's rad.
I'm sure they're out there. We just probably aren't familiar with it.
Yeah, maybe not. And someone said, yeah, she's smoking. On screen, there's a smoker. When was the last time we saw a smoker as a villain? No one ever smokes anymore. Smoking is too bad. How dare you smoke?
It's funny. They do still sell cigarettes out there or cigars. So, they needed to have elements that kind of made her just different. And I think that adds a nice little touch to it.
Yeah. No, I love that.
She smokes it well. She smokes it like she knows how to do it.
Yeah, 20 unicorn narwhal sidewinders.
Anyways.
Are photon torpedoes antimatter missiles? No, that's not correct. A photon torpedo is not an antimatter missile. No. That's those two different things.
I'm not going to go deep into that stuff because I don't know.
I don't think it is. Well, they also talk about there's a weapon loaded in the primary position, which means that's like the position like right in the front where they can utilize it the most, and they don't know what the weapon is.
It's unknown technology.
Right. And the only way you're going to see that is the shot that kills you. That's hard. That's pretty gangster. I mean,
no, it's a gangster move. Yeah, so she's basically telling him, don't try to run away. Because if you do, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
So they can't run away. They can't fight.
And as a parting demonstration of my intentions, she just casually throws a starship at them.
Guys, this is something. I mean, this shocked me so much when I'm like, wait a second. Yeah. I don't think we've ever seen this in Star Trek before.
Have you seen that? Yeah, I don't think it was. I can't remember ever seeing that before.
There was an episode where I think Wesley Crusher used like a deflector to move a ship or something like that, but nothing like this.
Yeah. We've seen kinetic weapons, right? Let me see if I can show it.
This is one of those other moments where you're like,
boom.
No way.
Just tosses it at him. And then like he says, shields up, evasive maneuvers. How are you gonna dodge that, bro?
You're not. No, you're not. You're just hoping that the shields hold well enough, and the shields barely hold up enough to. I mean, she just threw a ship at them.
It totally wreaks havoc on the Titan.
All I can say is I just kept saying, I want more. Give us more of this.
No, the tractor beam is not the primary weapon, John.
It's not.
Yeah, the primary weapon is the.
No, don't say nothing. You almost said it.
No, we already saw it though, right?
No. Nobody knows what it is yet. Don't say a thing.
Okay.
Episode.
Why?
Okay, so give me an upvote there for that, please, because that was fantastic.
One more question. Why in Star Trek don't they use kinetic weapons more often? Everyone's so adapted to shields. Why not start throwing things at people?
Well, maybe they haven't. Well, okay, I'll tell you why. Because it costs a lot of money to do it. That's why.
And that's because it costs a bunch of money to animate that.
It's expensive to start throwing starships at starships, brother.
It's a lot cheaper to show like a beam of light bouncing off a shield than to like someone to throw an asteroid at you.
Right. Yes. Much.
I mean, because like it seems like the ships of the future are not very adapted to like kinetic weapons. Almost like, because everything is so futuristic, they're not considering like a good old fashioned just bullet.
You got to be close enough, I think, to like do that though, because then they can maneuver.
That's true. There was this book I read. I think it was by Reeves and Garfield or whatever. One of those, the famous Star Trek writers, and it was about the Titan actually, and they were defending some like world, and in that book, the bad guys were like launching with like some kind of like kinetic javelins at starships, and they had no defense. So when I saw this here, and I remember reading that when I was younger and thinking how cool that is, I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I love about it? It makes sense. Like if you have the ability to stretch the science and technology in Star Trek so that it makes sense, like trying to get through the Mycelial network, okay, that's like a creation. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But when you create something that we see, hey, we're familiar with tractor beams. We're familiar with ships being held. Okay, why not a tractor beam where you could throw that sucker wherever you wanted to? Okay, I mean, that logic reaches me.
So yeah, are torpedoes kinetic weapons? That's what Yorkshire said. I don't know.
I mean, anything you throw, I guess you're technically throwing, combusting a weapon towards someone.
I guess this, regardless of whatever it is, it's definitely not a ship.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a lot different than a ship. All right.
So Shaw's like, yeah, we need to give her Jack right now.
Yeah, Jack's going to her ship. Like
she gives him an hour, and she gives him an hour to make up their mind, which is a typical villain ploy.
Yeah, so much for Shaw's no blowing up or crashing into anything.
Right, that's a really good point. So they're giving an hour, and of course Picard and Riker, talk Shaw into using the time to learn as much as they can from Jack. Yeah,
and this is when he's about to throw him in the brig, because he comes in with all of his aliases.
Yes, yeah, and if you run through those aliases, this is actually that second moment. So we didn't notice it the first time around, but one of his aliases is James Cole, which is the one of the actors from 12 Monkeys, one of the main characters.
Yeah, Jack Canby, John Carson, and James Cole. James Cole.
But then he says something here that's interesting.
Yes.
So he says, Shaw says, and my personal favorite, Jarlath Carvel.
Carvel, right.
And we spent, this is no joke, guys. We looked
so much time
on the internet. We searched up. There's no, by the way, just in case you're wondering, no human being has ever been named Jarlath Carvel.
Right.
Because Google says, yeah, sorry, there are no search terms for that.
Yeah. We looked everywhere.
So how did you figure it out, Brian?
So not only did Google, every search engine gave me nothing. And then I used ChatGPT to do a historical search for the name Jarlath Carvel.
Damn AI.
Turned up nothing. By the way.
Right.
I looked for, so it needed context. I kept giving it smugglers, pirates, of course, Star Trek. I gave it every reference I can possibly give it. Jack Crusher. At one point I was like, with this name in relation to Jack Crusher. And it was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, listen, we haven't seen the episode yet, buddy. Okay.
Yeah. So it was driving me nuts, because there's no way this name could not exist. And then I started using the initials, and I was like JC in relation to Star Trek, in relation to 12 Monkeys, et cetera, et cetera. And it found Jolly J. Carvel, which was a nickname used by one of the characters in 12 Monkeys. And the nickname was given to that character by Todd Stashwood's character.
That's right. His character gave that name. So this is a deep cut to 12 Monkeys. And if you were watching the show and you're like, who the hell is he talking about? Jarlath Carvel. Well, it's a 12 Monkeys super deep cut. And you have to be a super fan of 12 Monkeys to catch that one. And so nice touch there, Brian.
I like how, all of his aliases were still like JC, right?
Right.
So this deep cut is like, it's sort of like, I mean, I guess you can call it fan service, but it's not really fan service because it's so deep.
For who? For 12 Monkey Fans?
Yeah. For like the 3 people that remember this one reference, like, I don't know.
Let me tell you, it's pure fun. That's all
it's
it is.
It's just fun. Yeah, it's
a
not
name
fan
is a
service.
name.
It's fun service.
It didn't matter. It's fun service.
Yeah.
Super chat from Kenneth LaRoque here. Ken, thank you so much. $50 super chat. You are the
Holy
man.
moly, dude. Thank you.
Reminds me of a TIE Interceptor.
Oh, from Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a cool reference.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Thank you, man. Yeah, so I love this too because it's like at any moment, what is a reference? It's almost like every episode has like all these little puzzles in it. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun trying to like figure them out.
And I had to use the combined powers of 3 different AIs to find this one reference.
Google don't know, Bing don't know, Chat GPT don't know. You got to like build your own computer to figure this one out. So that was great. Or be such a deep cut 12 Monkeys fan.
Yeah, or be Robert Meyer Burnett.
or be Robert Meyer Burnett, who knows and
imagine it, man. I bet you if we asked, hey man, who's Joe Escobar? I would have been like, oh yeah, so this character played by this person on this episode of this date, a release on this time.
And he was also in the third book of the 5th series of this author.
Jesus.
Yeah, he would know.
And I have all of those variant covers. I'm like, what the?
There were 16 comics also made for that character.
I had 3 of them. 2 of them are signed. that's.
We're not making fun. We love you, Robert.
No, we love you, man. We wish we were as knowledgeable as you, man. You're like a
100% my favorite YouTuber. So
the bounty hunter's claims are valid. So this is actually giving Vatic validation, right? It's saying that he can legally hand over this person to her. There's plenty of bounties on the guy's head. And so he's going to put him in the brig for a while. And then at the end of the time, he's going to drop it off. Shaw's like, this man is getting what he deserves. He's a criminal. Yeah. To his defense, from what Shaw knows, straight up, all Shaw knows is Jack Crusher is a multiple offending criminal with multiple bounties.
Yeah, that's a good point. And plus, they're outside of Federation space,
right?
And Vatic, gave him another out by saying, "Look, you're not even in your jurisdiction."
Right, and I love this about it because, like, okay, so there's 2 kinds of villains for me. There's the villains that are they're like comic book villains, like they're evil for the sake of being evil. And I hate those villains. They act really over the top. And immediately, and this is when I'm gonna add my upvote. I had given Vatic a downvote because in my first interaction with her, she was just a comic book villain, and it didn't work. But now it's a strategic villain. Now here's the deal. There's the kind of villain that has no real motivation. Like the motivation is just to be evil, which is stupid. It's stupid if your only motivation is to be bad. That's dumb. We aren't children. Everyone has motivations. The best villains are villains where you understand their motivations. Now, we don't understand her motivations yet, but this is how you know she has motivations. She is giving them a way out. Because in The Art of War, it says, what does it say? Don't corner your enemy without giving him a way of retreat. Because then he's going to fight back with the power of 1,000 suns, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need, if you want to win a war or a battle, you got to give your enemy a way to limp away, right? If you aren't prepared to land that blow. The fact that she gives him all these outs where he can legally get out of this situation and not be the hero here. And everyone wins from his perspective, her perspective. Only Jack doesn't win. This is how you know right here that Vatic has a motivation. She's not just I'm bad. I want vengeance. Because if she's wanted vengeance, she would have just killed him. There's a motivation here that we aren't aware of yet, and she gave him multiple outs to get there. That's right there is when I go, oh, okay, wait a minute. So this character actually is multi-dimensional. There's a lot more to this character than just mustache twirling, angry, vengeance-driven kind of thing.
Right. So they end up taking him to the brig. And then once Shaw gets through this here, this is the moment. This is a great scene right here. This is where you first start to, it's really getting delved into. And you see Riker finally says to Picard, asks him, "Are you not seeing what I'm seeing?" And Picard tells Riker don't speculate, right? Don't speculate. I mean, we kind of know what he's saying, right? We all understand what he's saying is don't you see, like, this kid looks like you.
Looks like you, sounds like you, right?
Yeah, right. There's a whole lot of you going on here in this kid. And of course, Jean-Luc doesn't want to address it, but you can see like it's weighing on him.
Right. All right, so he goes to the brig to meet with the Crusher. And
he's trying to get information, trying to figure out how to get him saved.
Yeah, I love the way he sits down with him and he's talking to him like the good cop. He's not talking to him like a buddy or whatever. He's just trying to get information. This is very Picard to me. Like he's in Picard mode.
Yeah, I felt that, dude. I felt like he was there. This is exactly the way Captain Picard would have done it. He wouldn't have been emotional. He would have just been kind of like matter of fact about it. You know,
Right.
That's what we love about Picard. First two seasons, he was much too overly emotional.
Yeah, everything was emotional. Everything was like empathetic.
I mean, and despite the fact in this moment, he is wrestling with the realization that this is probably his kid. Now you got to remember, he's sitting here thinking, this is probably my kid.
He doesn't know yet. Yeah, he's not 100%.
Know,
right.
But Riker said it. Everybody said it. He doesn't know, but he definitely is feeling it. Okay, he's like thinking it. Well, as you can see, it's already on screen here. So he's asking him questions. You can tell it's on his mind, and it's stressing him the hell out. But he's not showing it. He's not showing that stress. We love that about this. That's Star Trek right there. But he can't help at the end because he's getting frustrated that he just finally, damn it, blurts it out, right?
Who's your father? I never had one.
Who's your father? You know, it just kind of comes out of nowhere, right? And then he also comes out of nowhere, you know?
Ed Speleers is such a great actor, man.
These actors sell this scene, man. They sell this scene so well. It's great, well done, good acting, good Star Trek.
Yeah, and the thing is, like,
upvote for me, please.
Yeah, same here. When you guys go back, when this is all done, and you've all had a chance to see it all, you can go back and visit other episodes. You're gonna see how well that these people did in these acting. It wasn't just in the moment. See, this show is not. It's a linear story, but everything is being told in a way that's not so linear, and it's really quite beautiful. All right. So you
can see he doesn't want to talk about it no more. You know, he also says right after that is over, he says, "Look, just give me to her. Turn me over to Vadic. If that will give my mom a future, then just send me over to her."
Right, which is establishing Jack's morality right away.
Right, and of course Jean-Luc's like, you need to go to trial. I'm not just going to let you turn you over.
Right. Yeah. That's a what did Riker say? That's not. That's a guillotine or whatever.
Oh, the ship was a guillotine, right? He's just sent him to his death.
Right. And we're back on Terry Planet, Metellus. And we get our first look at Sneed.
I mean, so I'm looking at this Romulan. He's got this Ferengi. He's got tattoos on his head. I mean, it's a good looking Ferengi. He looks like a underworld crime boss, I guess.
You know what I like about this, Shane? He looks like a Ferengi.
yeah.
Not a hybrid, not a Ferengi-like species. No, he's Ferengi.
Yeah, well 100%.
Said. That's a Ferengi. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's a Ferengi.
Well, give me an upvote for getting us to a Ferengi. I like it. And if you don't know who this Ferengi is, well, we had a little hint just a couple scenes ago. This is James Cole from 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
The same actor. And played by Aaron Stanford. And he got his little part here. You know, listen, Terry Metalis, he's got his writers from 12 Monkeys who came over and helped do Picard. Now he's got some actors and some key roles. I mean, why not? When you got a family and you do something so great together, why wouldn't you bring good actors and good people over with you to play these little roles?
Yeah, exactly. That's right there. If you already, like, I love this about Terry, like, you already have all these people that you trust that are proven, that work well with you, that work well in general, that work well together. Why not work with them? Bring them over. You know, I love that. And there's more coming up, I'm assuming.
You're so funny. You always make me laugh.
So she's there to meet Sneed, and she's trying to get more information. She says she works for, what was his name? Toluco?
It
reminded me of that Breaking Bad character.
Oh yeah, well, I think that's Taruko, right?
Or something like that. Yeah, Taruko or something like that.
Yeah. That guy's crazy.
That guy's awesome. It would have been great if it was that guy, but with Vulcan ears.
Yeah, that would be funny. That would have been great.
Yeah. And so they're having this conversation, right? They're like, the whole time it's very contentious. She wants more information. He doesn't trust her. Blah 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 blah.
Well, he knows things. Like he knows that
right.
that Jay's first wife was Starfleet. That she divorced him to go to Starfleet, I guess. And so he knows this, and so he's suspecting that it might be her. So he's making her he makes her take drugs in order to confirm that she's not. But he still gets the upper hand on
this
her.
Great acting here too, when he's like, such a Ferengi, bro. Like,
classic
really,
Ferengi.
Yeah, really nailed it. Really nailed it.
Armin Shimmerman would be.
I was just waiting for him to go like this. Oh yeah.
No, that's what she needed to do, was reach over to his lobes, right?
Yeah, you should have reached over, get some lobe action going on, man. You smell like Starfleet. So take these drugs. And so she does. She takes the drugs. Uh-oh.
Pretty good reaction to the drugs, too. She looks kind of scary. Almost like that movie Smile. Did you see that movie Smile?
Oh, yeah. That movie was creepy.
Yeah, she's got that look.
I like what he says here. It takes an old addict to fight it this hard. That's cool, because she was an addict.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is, like, he knows she's lying.
Because
right?
he has Toluco's head.
Because he has the head of the guy she's talking about. So that's just like, oh, dang, this Ferengi's bad. You know, he's badass.
Yeah, the whole time she's in there lying to him. He knows she's lying the whole time. That's wild.
But he gets her money first. This is so great. Like, he waits to, like, call her on it until he has her stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna kill her. He's a true Ferengi. Gets her money first. Right.
The rules of acquisition run deep in his blood.
Yes, they run very deep. The second rule of acquisition. So she immediately stabs him.
Because he basically says, take her out and kill her.
Right. And this is the moment. Another awesome moment, boys and girls.
Yeah, it's when you see that Kurleth come out through the back.
There's no way for me to actually get to that point. But yeah. Go ahead, sir.
No, just you see, obviously you realize it's Worf. You don't have a really good look at him right away. You just see like these henchmen being taken down.
Right.
Then you see it's Worf, you know, and then he chops off. That's great. He just chops off Sneed's head, right, and kills him.
Yeah.
That's something else we're going to talk about afterwards, about people complaining about, but we're going to
cue pacifism.
You're right. Cue the pacifism music. Also, we get the Vulcan, or the Klingon warbird song, like the Bird of Prey.
Yeah,
we get the music for that here before he gives his line, which I thought was cool. What does he say?
I told you, do not engage.
So then we learn he's her handler.
He's her handler, and I know there's a lot of people that had that theory.
Yeah, if you watch this show, you found out last episode that that was the case.
Here's the deal. Okay, I'm new to this whole keeping a secret thing, so I'm having a hard time with it. I can't show you this, but I have a piece of paper right here with a ton of notes of not what to talk about, but what not to talk about.
Don't say this. Yeah. That's great.
I'm not joking. I literally have like 14 things about this episode that I can't mention.
I will say we've done way better than other people.
True that.
And I'm telling you right now, there are people out there who've only seen 6 episodes of this show, and they're giving shit away. And I'll tell you right now, it is not cool. I pulled up something this morning and went, come on, man. Is that really? I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because I don't want to ruin it for you, but somebody put out something, a relatively big news channel, YouTube, all that stuff, put it out. And it's just not cool that they're trying to capitalize on the fact that they know something. And I don't know. I don't like it. We know things, but we're not teasing those things or trying to get you guys. We're not trying to get your clicks because we know stuff. We're just enjoying the show with you guys.
What drives me most nuts is that those people have been getting screeners of all the Star Trek shows for years. And they've been and they pull that stuff all the time. And we're not ever going to pull that stuff, but this might be, I don't know how much access we're going to get in the future because we're really honest.
Yeah. Well, I will say that Captain April here mentioned that you were a warrior. It was a giveaway. So like, that's now true. Granted, the first time we watched it, when we watched it, we kind of watched it all the way through. So I didn't catch that the first time. Like I didn't get the Worf vibes from the handler initially.
When he said when the handler said you are a warrior, I gotta be honest. My first thought was, "Oh, that's Worf." But then, because my monkey brain doesn't work all the time that good, I was like, "Wait a minute, it's a female voice."
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
right.
So stupid. Right. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, "Wait, that sounds like Worf." I'm like, no, it's a female voice." I didn't even think about the fact that it could be any voice. I was just, I'm sitting there in the moment, like watching this whole thing, and I'm like, so like flabbergasted at our ability to watch this that I'm not even putting the pieces together. But right when it says you are a warrior, I'm like, that's a Worf thing to say. But then I just stopped. My brain just sort of stopped right there because
right. Well, then you moved on because you didn't get like a couple weeks to think about it. So that's the thing is we went boom, boom, and we went right into and it just kind of happened. So, and then you go, oh, okay, that makes sense. So all of you guys who figured it out, congratulations. That was good.
I love this too. First rule of acquisition: once you have their money, never give it back.
Never give it back. That's right.
Yeah, that's rad.
Don't lose your head over it. Oh, that's not a rule.
Oh, all right. back on the Titan. Captain Shaw is having a hard day.
Time's running out for Jack, baby.
He is being accosted.
He does. Look at him. He looks like it.
He's being accosted on both sides by Picard and Riker.
Right.
And he was waking up, remember, early from his nap. He still has not taken a full night's sleep. He's not having a good time. He never wanted these people on board in the first place.
Someone knows his psyche, Val. From Starfleet, who's threatening in his ship. I mean, he's just not doing well.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Excuse me. It's so funny the way he acts out. He's like, "Oh God, Dad."
He's such a good actor.
He's so angry the whole time.
So he's still not convinced that he's Beverly Crusher's son, and with her still unconscious, they haven't been able to prove it yet. Which is something else we'll talk about after the show because we definitely want to go into this whole DNA thing.
Okay.
So while this is all happening, Jack escapes from the brig, and this is an upvote for me. Oh, did I give the Worf? Did Worf get an upvote?
You did not.
So Worf upvote. I want an upvote for this brig escape.
Oh yeah, this was rad.
Super clever. He has some sort of tech on him, and he's able to. He knows enough about Starfleet. You can just see that he's got this. He's a smart guy. He basically gets the security guy to tell him what the force field level is because he's required to, so he doesn't hurt himself. Right, and so then when he tells him, he's able to match his frequency or whatever to that, and it brings down the shield.
Yeah, I love that too. I love that he has to tell them because the other one got hurt, and then he used that information to actually break out, which is super rad.
That was pretty cool.
This is a Star Trek thing, guys. Right here, this is a Star Trek thing. Like
100%.
It's not like
so Star Trek.
It's not like he convinced him to get out, or it's not like Jack was so smart he was able to crack the panel with nothing.
Wait. Or Jack sat the security guy down and talked about his feelings about when he was a child, and he got him to cry so hard that the water drained the keys out to him and allowed him to escape. Yeah,
tears.
It wasn't none of that, guys. It's just Star Trek.
No, yeah, it was just Star Trek. It wasn't like some supervillain nonsense or superhero. It wasn't like some like super convenient thing. It was like he needed this information. He had this device in his sleeve. He got out. Clever.
So this is interesting because I love this part. So you got Picard and Shaw on the bridge, right? And you've got Riker here. And Riker's like just taking a hypo spray to Beverly. And the doctor's like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm just back off. I'm doing what I'm doing. I just love Riker is so cool, man. He's just like just doing what he's got to do.
Yeah, Riker is too old to care.
Like, back off.
I'm just gonna...
And then you get this great moment here on the bridge. The doctor's like, what are you doing? Trying to save all our lives. You get this moment on the bridge where Vadic decides, oh, we're 30 minutes in. I think we're going to have another conversation. Now, this is where you're going to get my upvote for Vadic.
Okay.
So Vadic, she only contacted them to taunt them.
Right.
That was it. She just contacted them to scare them a little bit, right? To get them to turn over the boy. She's relentless in what she wants to do. And as the episodes continue, you're going to see that even more. But in this case right here, she gives them a description of her. We learned that this is where we learned that the ship is called the Shrike, right? And of course, the Shrike is a bird. And she talks about, and just really like in the acting, goes into detail that she's just going to peck away at them little by little until there's nothing left of them. I mean, it's just really, if you're in that position where you have essentially nothing you can do about it, you realize, wow, she really can do this. And once again, Shaw's like, we're turning him over. We're turning him over now.
Right.
So she's getting to Shaw. Right.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Like remember though, she's still giving him plenty of outs.
Well, like just turn over the boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Turn over the boy, but also he's not doing anything that he's not allowed to do. And she's not like attacking his ship right away. She's not rushing it. I mean, she's motivated, she's methodical, and she has an actual like depth to her now.
Yeah.
And as it goes on, you find more and more depth to this character. There is like the super dramatic lighting and the smoking. It has like the typical villain vibe to it, but it does work. Yeah, so they find out that Jack got away. Now they're trying to find him. And where's Jack going, Shane?
He's going to the transporter, baby.
Why is he going to the transporter, Shane?
Because he's trying to get off this ship and give himself up so he can save his mom.
He's trying to make the decision for Shaw. He's trying to make it easier on everyone, and he's just going to give himself up. He's going to save the ship, save his mom, save the day. This is what a hero does. Yeah.
Yep. This is the moment when we learn, and I think this is when everything gets really intense here at the last moment. So he's like, yeah, unlock that thing. Let him go, right? Shaw's like, sure, no problem. He wants to go over there. Let him go. So in the end, Shaw still realizes like his whole goal, he's definitely going to turn him over. He's not convinced of anything, that there's a reason, to keep the kid. He's following the line of reasoning Vadic's given him. And now we get this moment.
Right. Yes. Riker brings Beverly
best moment
onto
of the show
bridge.
so far.
Yes. Yeah. Best moment. I agree.
We finally get to see Beverly up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Riker brings Beverly on to the bridge of the ship. And there's this moment. They don't even say a word. They just look at each other.
There's no words. Look at the look on Gates McFadden there. Look at the look that she's giving him, right? And the where that emotion has to come from. I mean, it's like 30 years of knowing somebody, right? And she's, obviously ill. She's not doing well. She looks at him. He looks at her, and the look on his face is, oh my God, I get it. Actually, it goes back and forth, I think, twice. You see that? You see, he closes his eyes like, oh my God, it's true. Oh my God. Like, right. There's so many things here, like how, when, why, how come I didn't know? Like all those things happening in his head at one time.
Right.
But he doesn't have that time to function and to figure that out. He just kind of gives this look. It's great. There's no words, and then he immediately takes charge.
Yeah.
The boy's going nowhere. He shuts everything down. He takes control of the situation, orders the bridge crew around. And then Shaw's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's like, belay that. Admiral is taking charge. And he just completely takes over. And the captain's like,
No, well, no. Shaw first says, "What are you doing? Like, what do you think
Right.
you're doing?" Right? And he's like, "He's my son." And that's when
Right.
we get it. We finally get the words. He's my son. He's like, "Oh God damn it!"
Okay.
Right?
Because that's when Shaw realizes that.
Well, you can't. Well, I think Shaw, and this is where we get the first vestiges. Now we got a little bit of Shaw's character when he allowed the Titan to go rescue the Elios,
Right.
right? To break in, and he made that sacrifice. So we got a little bit of you, but now we really get it. When push comes to shove, when we get to the nuts and bolts of the situation, Shaw is going to be loyal to these Starfleet legends.
Right. Yeah. And
So,
I think once he has all the information, the reason he says, "Oh God damn it," is he's like, okay, now I have to do the hard thing.
right. It's
That's the right thing to do.
Son. Yeah. It's, now it's, yeah. And he believes it. He doesn't say, "Give me a DNA test." He doesn't say, "No way." He just, because in his soul, he's as much Starfleet as these guys are. He wants to be the legend that they are in his own way.
Sure. Yeah.
And so he puts his hand on Shaw's shoulder. It's a part that I think gets missed. And there's this resignation by Shaw that, in for a pound and, in for a penny, in for a pound. So they're all in now. And even Picard orders the firing, or orders the ship to fire.
Right.
Right. And the Shrike. And this is the scariest part of the whole thing. I want 2 upvotes. I want an upvote for the display to Beverly, the look. I want an upvote for Shaw, actually, because of the way he responded, appropriate. And then my last upvote is Vadic's laugh.
Well, yeah, I got this thing too. When Shaw says they're gonna want to fight, and Picard says they're gonna have to find us first. That was a really cool line.
That was a cool line, yeah. And then I just love that, like, they're firing everything they got at the Shrike, and Vadic's laughing.
Right.
Like, it zero effect, nothing. And look at her. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be great."
Yeah. So in the beginning of when we first introduced this character, I'm like, okay, so sort of cartoonish. But like I said, as the episode goes on, she becomes more and more like a motivating psychopath, psychopath, and that it fits. And as the show goes on, you're gonna find out that she is very motivated and very much psychopath.
Well, and you don't know. Yeah, you don't know what's going on with her right now. All you know is that nothing's going to deter her.
Right.
And it really leaves for a wonderful mystery for the episode. And I think it leaves with her laugh and kind of them going off, and really great episode. Like we said before, episodes 1 and 2 really did need to be partnered together, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a good package. I mean, obviously you can do each episode individually, but now that you've seen 2 together, you feel like there's this fulfillment, wouldn't you say?
Almost.
Yeah. Do you feel like, yeah, I feel like feel like it was packaged really well. And if you had to stop here for a week or 2, you'd be okay. Right. We're not, of course, it'll be back next week.
Thank God.
But it's one of those things where you feel like you've gotten to a place. And
this is why they showed the 2 episodes at the premiere, because like if you had just shown that first episode, it would have been like not good, in my opinion.
Right. It would have been a little bit off, but so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Do they have I'm sure they offered a little preview for next week, right?
I don't know. We can't show it. So even if
we can't show any of it,
no, it'll demonetize the entire stream.
We can't do like little jumps like this, so that way we can talk about what's to come.
Let me see.
I really wanted to do that next week, or last week, but I don't think we got the chance to. And it would be nice to just be able to take a small look at what's coming forward.
Sure. Let me go look.
And in the meantime, there's a couple of things we can talk about. So, there's a few things that people are talking about as complaints. Now, people are still talking about the lighting being a problem. And I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what to say about that, because I feel like I'm watching a movie. The original series movies, they had dark bridges as well. So I'm not sure why everybody's so concerned about that. I didn't have a problem watching it on my TV. So it almost feels to me almost like it's just like something to hold on to so that you don't like the show. I don't understand it. You have to realize that the 90s lighting is not coming back. It's the way it was shot then. Okay, this is more cinematic. It doesn't feel like I can't see things. Like I see everything that needs to be seen. Is there anything in this shot, Brian, that you're not seeing? Like, do you feel like you're missing something because of the darkness?
I don't think I'm missing anything.
That's the thing, is like, if you're going to complain about the darkness, then complain because like it's Game of Thrones, you can't see what's happening in the action.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That was a problem.
Yeah, that was a massive problem. That made no sense. No. Everything is visible here, completely visible. I think people are complaining because they expect, like, the old TNG days where the bridge is like lit up with all kinds of fill lights.
Those days are gone, guys. I mean, like,
that's not the way TV is made anymore. Yeah.
And what's important about a TV show, anyways? Is the characters and the story important, and the fact that you can see what's happening, or is it the way it's lit? Like, really, when push comes to shove, what's the most important thing?
I mean, the criticism, like the logic of a bridge being dark like that. I get that logic. Same when you watch like CSI Las Vegas, you're like, why is everything so dark?
Yeah, right.
And
it's supposed to be clandestine.
Yeah, in like an actual traditional, like, cop, detective, investigative place, it would be well lit, but like not on TV shows. It's dramatic.
It'd be interesting.
It's like cinematic.
It's cinematic. It'd be interesting if you went back to the medical bay scene. I know you can't pull it up necessarily right now, but when Riker's giving the hypo spray, I wonder what the lighting is like in there. I didn't pay close attention to that, but is it?
It's not as bright as the medical bay and Voyager. That's for sure.
It never will be. Like It's really important to note the way sets were lit back then are totally different than now. I mean, unless you go for the entire thing to look like that, that's just not the way it's done. One of the other complaints that we've heard was that why didn't they test Jack's DNA for his mom right away? Do it in a Star Trek way.
Why would you right away test DNA?
Well, now I get the thought because Shaw doesn't necessarily believe he's Beverly's son.
But why?
Right?
Why would Shaw not believe that?
Because he was a bunch of aliases.
But also, why would it even matter? Like, bottom line, even Beverly's son or not, he's still a criminal.
But if he's the son of a Starfleet, a retired Starfleet person or an important person, then you may not give him up.
I don't know. I do know this is that everything happened at breakneck pace. Like, they went from the transporter to the bridge, and then the second they figured out that he was a criminal, they took him to the brig. Like, they didn't have time to scan him for anything. They're reacting to this vessel that gave them an hour to hand this person over before they destroy him.
Well, they had an hour, so they probably could have done it. But here's the thing: I would argue that's not the point. The way we learn that he's, Picard's son and Beverly's son is much more dramatic, interesting, and better for the story. So we got to remember we're telling a story here. You can easily figure things out in 5 minutes. It always frustrates the hell out of me when we make a video and somebody leaves a comment and said, "Oh, well, you could have told us all that in 30 seconds." I'm like, well, wouldn't have been a very good video if you got it in 30 seconds, would it?
I mean, yeah.
Do you want a news site, or do you want some drama and some entertainment?
Are you on YouTube or TikTok, bro?
Well, that's my point.
Every time I see a comment like that, I'm like, why are you here? If you're expecting like a 30-second answer to something, this is not like a DIY channel. Well, the point of our videos are to entertain and to educate.
Right. So entertainment is the point, and that's the point of the show, is entertainment. So anybody who complains that you didn't get the faster or shorter answer on something in a Star Trek show, all I would say is allow there to be some creativity.
Well, that's not really that's not what Star Trek is, though. Star Trek is not like that either. That's not, again, Star Trek is not the quickest possible answer. It walks you through the steps, man. The whole point of it is like making you think. It's contemplative. That's the point of Star Trek.
That is true. It should make you think. The other thing you should really consider is that, when you're watching a show like this, is to allow yourself just to get lost in the story. The great thing about Picard season 3 is that you're not having to worry about plot points being plot points not fitting, devices, holes. You're not worrying about all those things because they've done such a good job of not doing it. And that's what actually causes you to fall out of the story. There's a wonderful quote by J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't have it in front of me, but essentially he talks about when somebody's watching a story and they're invested in it and they're all in on it, the moment you do something to take them out of that, then the magic is removed. The magic is gone. So in Picard seasons 1 and 2, there were so many things that happened, whether it was, the ice stuff or dealing with real world problems we have today that was being injected into Star Trek that brought you out of the story. The cool thing about Picard season 3 is there's no reason for you to come out of it. You're in and it's enveloping you. There's nothing that's causing you to have to, have the magic be broken. So, so that was something else people can. So allow a little bit of the drama and not worry about stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. My thing with the DNA test too is I don't think I agree. I don't think. Have we ever seen a Star Trek that just immediately start DNA testing everyone the second they come on board? Like, I don't know. That doesn't seem very dramatic to me whatsoever. And I guess that's an option, but like the pace is moving so quickly. I didn't even consider DNA testing. Like
right. One of the other things that people complained about was Vadic giving an hour. Why would she give them an hour to decide? That's typical bad guy trope.
No, it's not. That's the art of war. Straight up. You are giving them the ability to get out of the situation on their own. You're giving them a retreat that works for them. So she gets what they want, what she wants, and they get what they want to live.
And nobody dies, right?
Right. She's not being generous. This is actual strategy. This is because she's not a comic book villain. If she was a comic book villain, she would just start blowing them up until she got what she wanted. She needs Jack for some reason. She wants him. So she's not going to blow the whole ship up. So she needs to give them time to figure out what they need to figure out to come to the conclusion that they're going to give Jack up amicably. It is a tactful, giving your enemy a tactful retreat. That's what it is.
So, and that's really good storytelling. So if you're creating a story and you can make something that you're using to move the story forward, so you need time, right? So you need time to talk to Jack. You just got over the Titan. So Terry Matalas and his team, they need time to have discussions, to break down the story and figure out what's going on. So a lot of times writers will just create a situation and then not give you any reasonable reason why they would do it, right? So knowing Vadic's, and Brian broke it down exactly, knowing this art of war strategy, giving the hour makes sense. So if there's no reason for the hour, then people are like, well, but if you stop and think about it, what are her other options? She can board the ship. She can't destroy the Titan because she wants Jack, right? She can't beam him off. She can't tractor beam that big of a ship.
Right.
All she can do is board that vessel.
She can either give them an hour or she can board the vessel. And boarding the vessel means she's going to lose her own people.
She's going to lose her own people, right? And there's also the chance that maybe Jack gets killed, right? During the fire exchange.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's reasons why this works and makes sense. It gives us a chance to tell a story over an hour, but it also lets the bad guy, it explains the reasoning for it. So it's not just a mustache twirling, I'm going to give you an hour or you all die. It's
I agree with Archmage. She should have said 1 Earth hour. I agree.
Well, she did earlier say, I believe it's afternoon in the Sol system.
Right.
Something like that, right?
All right. So, this is the only...
No, people, please don't do the whole time thing. Like, how do they know what time it is in space? Just stop, okay? Listen, we're still telling a story on a TV show. We're not actually in space,
I have the only teaser I can find, because you took me off guard. I don't know which one I need to show you.
If there was one at the end of Paramount Plus's show,
there's never one at the end of those things. But I did find, a promo called 17 Seconds, and this looks legit. And this is definitely legit. This is for next season.
Oh, okay, that is
next episode. And it's a quick 48 seconds of. It looks like Vadic is chasing the Titan deeper into the nebula. And everyone looks very pensive.
Yeah, it looks like there's some stuff going on.
That's about it. That's the only promo. So
does it show anything?
that's all it shows, man.
Did it show anything happening between the ships at all?
No, it's a whole speech of her like hunting them in the nebula.
Okay, so that's what it's going to be about. And Terry has already kind of given this whole like Hunt for Red October or Hunt for Red October. If you guys know that movie, then you'll know kind of probably what's coming a little bit. And
oh no, it was Crimson something, right?
Crimson Tide is one, but Hunt for Red October is also the other one they talked about, and that's because that's more of, is he going to do his crazy Ivan to the left or to the right? Remember?
I think Picard is going to channel Sean Connery. We are just out of sonar range.
Maybe. But the excitement has just begun. This was a really good episode. There are 8 more to go, and I would argue that most of them are just as good as this one was. And it's going to be fun. What do you think?
It's going to be great. And so it looks like our average score here is I gave 7. You were much kinder at 12. And what's the average there? I'm bad at math.
9.5.
9.5. So this episode gets a 9.5, everybody, which is pretty damn good.
It's great. And we'll
All right.
see what happens with Rafi coming up.
We're gonna skip more of Rafi. I can tell you this: if I gave upvotes and downvotes based on what I know, my score would have been much higher. But I am trying to be realistic to only what I am able to witness and review this episode, which makes it a little harder, but a little more honest too, I think, too. And that way you guys will be able to follow along. Like next week, I believe next week, or I think the following week is probably one of my favorite episodes, but we'll see. I don't remember exactly which one's which, but it's going to be great. You guys don't miss out on this.
So if you guys are enjoying the show, and you're enjoying Picard season 3, and you want more Picard season 3 made by Terry Matalas, and you want this whole feeling of Star Trek and the way you're getting it, then we encourage you to go over and sign the petition that we've created over at terrytrek.com. And, so we've right now, I think we have, 849 signatures. We haven't really advertised it much. The whole goal of this thing right here is to just raise awareness that we want more Star Trek made by Terry Matalas.
Yeah.
So far, there's no confirmations that he's doing anything moving forward. And we want to just make sure that all the executives that over at Paramount, Alex Kurtzman, everybody working over there that has any decision-making power need to know how badly fans want this type of Star Trek moving forward in the future. We've got a great opportunity. Picard season 3 is ending, and we've got a new show that has to happen. Why not let that be a Terry Matalas-led show, moving Star Trek forward in this timeline?
Amen to that.
That's all we got to say. And as we get closer, just if you don't sign it today, just bookmark it somewhere and consider it once you feel like the show is what you want Star Trek to be. Then sign it possibly.
Set up for next time. All right. Got a super chat from Bandit. I was watching Encounter at Farpoint again, and there's a scene. Beverly explains to Wesley Picard is too busy with responsibilities for a family. Fascinating. Really good one.
That is, that's played all through his career. That is a theme all through Star Trek for Picard. It's played through this series, and it's going to play through this season as well.
Oh yeah. It's just going to get better and better. So like we said, what did we say last week? Last week's episode was probably the least exciting of the episodes. As every episode goes, like for me, I think it really just every episode is a little better than the previous episode.
It does. It just builds. It builds and builds.
Yeah, there's a couple episodes that are sort of exposition heavy, but those episodes are the episodes where you get the meat and potatoes, and you're gonna be okay with it. So
yeah, I think you're right. They're going to be like, well, there may not have been as much action, but you learned things, and it helped build your headcanon with these characters quite a bit.
Right. Okay. Moving on. Do you want anything else you want to do about Picard? Or you want to move on to the next topic?
No, I think that's it. Do we have? I think we said earlier we're going to have Picard videos coming out every Sunday and every Thursday morning.
Right.
We're also going to be talking Picard season 3 with other people who are watching Picard season 3 on Monday night on Raw Rant. So if you guys want to check that out, or Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and of course we'll be back here next Thursday to do the next episode. So glad to have you guys.
Okay, so we're moving on to the next topic. So we have 3 other topics on. We have 3 more, right?
Let's just keep going until we find stuff, man. Let's just whatever. What do we got?
So we have 3 more topics. We're gonna do 1 more here, and then the last 2 in the member section. And I will give you guys more. Member section is really easy to find. It's in the description if you guys want to go over there. But I will give you more information when we get to that point.
Can we before we go to what's the one you're gonna do here?
Which one do you want to do?
No. Don't put it on me. What do you
really
already
care.
said it. You said we're gonna do 1 here and 2 others.
I was gonna pick the next one, but like whatever you want.
No, okay. I want you to pick so that I can do something. You pick.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about, I guess, the Seth MacFarlane thing.
Okay. Well, the thumbnail was Karen, so we should probably talk whatever's on the thumbnail for sure.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, Karen Gillis. That works.
But I want to do this link I sent you here. What the Earth will look like if all its land ice melts. Did you see that link in the news?
Okay, I guess.
Can you pop that up?
All right. Why are we doing
you guys
this
to watch this? Listen, guys, I want you to watch this little video that came out by Business Insider. Made this video.
Where's
really
the
weird.
video?
It's the last. It's below Shazam.
No, there's no video on the link. Let me find it.
Just click the link. It's
All right, it's a YouTube video. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna show this from Business Insider.
Yeah, we want to, you
want to show the full 2 minutes?
Listen, shout out to Business Insider because you're about to get your ass handed to you. But go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
I mean, people can be curious. They can hear me, right, when I'm talking when it's going, because there's no words or anything.
Yeah. Ready?
What?
For me, it looked like California had even more oceanfront real estate there.
Well, they do a little bit, but leave it there. Like leave the shot there. Okay, so okay. They just spent the last minute focused on the United States.
Yeah.
Okay. Completely focused. I mean, did it not feel watching this video like Africa, Australia, Asia, Europe, America, right? For the last minute, let me tell you who the top 10 polluting countries are. India 1, Russia 2, Japan 3, Germany 4, Iran 5, South Korea 6, Saudi Arabia 7, Indonesia 8. Okay, stupid internet work.
But you know what? Only you can save the planet with your electric car. You know what's yeah.
No, it's
so this looks like a Lex Luthor like Lex Luthor set up a giant microwave and microwaved all the ice caps.
All I want to say is the United States has its problems, okay? Like we do pollute, okay? That's not what I'm saying. We do pollute. But there's other countries out there who are polluting just as bad, if not worse.
No, India pollutes way worse than we do. China pollutes way worse than we do. I mean, there's so many. Look at the 3 square miles of plastic in the random. I mean, come on.
Well, you got to remember, there's a lot of third world countries who are going through industrialization like we did. Now, we polluted the hell out of the planet.
Yeah,
in the 1800s. Polluted the hell out of it, right? 1800s and in the early 1900s, yeah, we did some damage. But there's countries now that are like we were during that time. And these countries are now polluting the hell out of the planet right now. So my point is, like, you can yell at us all you want, but until you get everybody else on board, we can't solve the problem here in America.
Yeah, the only way for us to solve like a global pollution issue is by making it a global problem.
Right. And I know they're trying to do that, but it's like, it just feels to me like things like this, when it just focuses on us, we want you to see in America what's going to happen to your area and really be focused on it. So you're terrified and you do something about it. the reality is that the whole world's going to be affected by this stuff.
Yeah, but what can any person in the United States do? Like anybody what can one person do ever? Like this is not like this. It's not like we're all littering and that's why there's problems. Right. We don't even know the extent of the problems or where they completely come from. But let's say everyone's correct and it's coming from CO2 gases. What is one person contributing to that? No, it's the corporations, oil rigs, pouring pollutants into the air in countries that have no regulations.
Right.
So you can complain, you can virtue signal and complain to the regular person all you want, but I'm sorry, me using some hairspray is not the problem here. Okay, I'm just not. Me having an older vehicle that uses gas, I'm not the problem. And just to be clear,
part of the problem.
If I had an electric car, I would still be the problem.
Because you're part of the problem, but you're a smaller part of the problem.
A tiny, insignificant part of the problem.
Right. The point is that...
And if I had an electric car, I would still be part of the problem because most of my electricity is going to come from the same exact gases of where my car...
The point is if America were to completely stop polluting the planet right now, 100%, we just... like moved outside and stopped breathing out CO2, killed off all the humans or whatever we did in America. If it all stopped right now, the planet would still continue towards global warming, according to scientists. So my point is,
we need a Last of Us virus.
Spread it around a little bit, huh? What's that?
We need a mushroom virus.
No, we don't. That's way worse.
We need to filter some of the what do they call it? Calabrides, whatever that mushroom is, into the wheat. And
no,
when everyone goes to eat their double cheeseburgers from McDonald's, it'll solve its own problem.
No, it won't, because now the planet, then what's the point then? What's global warming solving the planet isn't getting rid of humans.
A very tiny portion of us will have an immunity to it and we'll be able to survive.
Whatever, man. I'm not for that solution. Anyways, the point was, I just thought it was funny that business.
Obviously, I'm joking. I'm not saying genocide's the answer.
Cordyceps or whatever.
I also don't know what the answer is, and I don't even know what the problem quite is. No one really knows. Like, we're just trying to figure it out.
We have too much carbon in the air for sure. 100%. There's too much. It's obviously you can see it. But a
bunch of that on where and when and how is politicized to the point where it makes the waters muddy. And the real problem, there shouldn't be a political issue here.
Yeah, I don't care about the politics of it.
Yeah, the issue should be like, well, here's a problem. How do we solve it? Well, let's not point the fingers. Let's figure out how to solve the problem. So we identify the problem where it's coming from and solve it. But it becomes a political thing where everyone's maneuvering for power instead of actually solving the problem. And companies are buying carbon credits. Bro, that is such bullcrap. You should not be able to spend money to become carbon neutral. I'm sorry.
Right.
And I'm not even saying
you're not carbon neutral.
I'm not even saying that. I don't even know if that's the actual fix. What I'm saying though is, if you're going to virtue signal and say you're carbon neutral, but you spent $1 billion on carbon credits, all right, do billions? Is that cleaning the air somehow? Like, what the hell,
it's
bro?
Not. They're just giving money.
I know it's such bullcrap. It's so political and stupid, and it really sets us normal plebs away from like the trillionaires, man, the billionaires. It's all a bunch of BS. Yet I'm the one being blamed because I have a 2007 Jeep. Get out of here. Shut up.
Well, this wasn't about you, but okay.
No, I know. But every time I go to LA, I get looks. Yeah, I have an old car. You want to know why? I don't have an old car because I want an old car. It's because I can't afford a new car. Hello? I'm not driving a 2007 beat up Jeep for fun. It's because I can't afford a new car.
You're getting looks in LA amongst all the homeless?
And if I could afford a new car, it wouldn't be an electric car. I can tell you that right now. In fact, if you want to talk about the most fuel-efficient vehicle, it'd probably be a hybrid. That's the best. But everyone's stuck on electric right now. Hybrids are probably the most efficient cars out there right now.
Well, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. You got states like California that says we're going to make everything's going to be electric. All vehicles are going to be electric by 2030.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, we can't keep the electricity on. So how are you supposed to charge all these electric cars in California if, you know, so they haven't solved the problem yet. That's for sure.
The king of California, Gavin Newsom, he decided
The king of California.
Yeah, there are kings. So we have a king here. His name is Gavin Newsom.
Right.
He's actually the nephew of the Queen of California, Nancy Pelosi. And he had decided that all vehicles will be electric.
Are they married?
No, he's the nephew of the Queen.
I know, but you said the king and queen.
Well, he's the now king. She was the previous queen.
Oh, okay. She's the previous ruler.
Then she became the queen of like a bunch of states that anyway. You're messing my analogy up.
I'm sorry, I got confused for a second.
So he said so the king of California said all vehicles are going to be electric by this time, right? Somewhere in the 2030, 2035, something like that. That's FYI. Maybe you don't live here. I get it. Electricity is hard to come by here. Most of us, the grid barely supports what we have now, and it's so expensive. It's so expensive that my electricity bill, and I am not rich, and I do not have a mansion. Okay, I have a regular domicile in the middle of a regular part of the state. My electricity bill is often like $800 a month. And that's like a normal for me. That's normal for me. Like I just budget for that. Imagine if your electricity bill was more than what most people pay in rent. And that's the state of California. So for the king of California to then say all cars will be mandatory electric by this time. First off, no way the state can support that. And it would never be able to support that. And even if it could, people wouldn't be able to afford it. 100%. Thirdly, where is electricity coming from?
Coal.
Look it up. It's not even clean. It's not even clean energy, dude. Like it's so dumb. You are burning coal. And I hate to say that if you have an electric car, good for you. But the majority of your energy is coming from unclean energy. Jesus. It's so stupid and political, dude.
They haven't figured it out. They need to figure it out. I mean, like, listen, clean energy would be great. Listen, who doesn't want the planet to be as healthy as possible?
Why not? Yeah.
You just have to come up with a plan. It might take 50 years.
Right.
It might take time to figure out how to make wind energy work properly, how to make, sunlight effective, electricity. To turn the energy processes of the globe, it just takes time, and we're just not really invested into it. We just can't flip a switch though, and all of a sudden do that because we're not really helping anything. All we're doing is getting people elected.
Right.
And that's not something we want to do.
That's all this is for them keeping their jobs. Because in the United States, for some reason, we don't have term limits, which is why I call them kings and queens. Because the lowest form of actual control in this country is the president of the United States. Because they at least have a term limit.
They have term limits.
they can't be king and queen forever. But if you're a senator or a governor, you can just be king and queen forever. It's the silliest thing. So here's the thing. One last thing about California, and then I'm done talking about it.
Yeah, because most of the people aren't from here.
Sweet. Hey, here, even if you're not from here, I want you to understand how crazy this is, right? I just told you how expensive electricity is. I just told you how insane it is to try to power everything with electricity, right? We're in a state that is pretty much a desert, right? The majority of California is naturally a desert, like a desert. Yeah. The majority of the state. So we have water problems here, right? We get a lot of our water from like Nevada, from where the salty nerds live, Lake Mead, and some from up north, and
Northern California.
And in San Diego, we have some desalination plants, right? Because they a little smarter. But
they don't do much though.
They don't do much because it's very expensive. But we have a lot of water problems every year since I have been able to understand the English language. I have heard this. We are in a drought. We are in a drought. Since I can remember time, it's been hammered into my head that California is in a drought and that we're going to run out of water. I found out a few weeks ago that we had a record a record amount of rainwater fall in this state over the last year. A record amount.
Okay.
And 95% of it was flushed into the San Francisco Bay.
Yeah, I still didn't figure all that out, how that works. Is that true?
Yeah.
But because we couldn't hold on to it, we don't have ways to hold on to it.
Right? We have ways. They actually flushed a bunch of it into the bay for not just San Francisco Bay, it's that whole bay, the South Bay. Flushed a bunch of it in the bay for the health of the bay areas.
No, need to look into that more. Yeah. I'm not familiar with that, but
there's a whole expose on it. It's crazy. We had a bunch of it and we just flushed it away.
Well, I can tell you in Southern California, that shit ain't going down because we need the water badly here. So
they did it. They did it, Shane. They did it.
All right. Well, we'll have to look more into that. I believe you. I just don't know anything about it.
So. Yeah, I get it. It sounds nuts. That sounds crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you a video.
I mean, honestly, people are going to go. I mean, people should be probably put away forever if that's actually happening. So.
Oh no, yeah. I'll show you. It's crazy. People are fully aware of this and can't do anything about it, which is nuts.
My water bill is easily $300 a month, and I can't even hardly water we're like every other day or something like that, or one day a week to water our lawns. So.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Wild. Hey, super chat from Jeremy Snyder. Hey, he's helping me pay this electricity bill. Thank you, Jeremy. California EV mandate. Think about the California electric semi mandate. Every Tesla semi that has rolled off the semi line has already broke. See, yeah, that's not. And a lot of people are blaming Tesla, which I'm sure there's plenty of blame there. But like, oh man, we can't go into this. But there are so many problems with the EV. The EV trucks are a bad idea. They're just a bad idea, and there's I can point out 50 reasons why it's a bad idea, but I'm gonna stop. It's not fun.
Yeah, well, we don't want to go deep into it, but I don't know a lot about it. I know that they're planning to do it, but if the technology isn't there to work, then that's one thing. The other thing is we got people doing jobs, so I mean, I'm hoping that people aren't going to lose jobs because we have EV trucks. That's all I'm saying. Jeremy's out there running the roads. We don't want him to lose a job. It'll destroy an entire industry, but it'll also destroy an entire supply chain. It will not work. 100% will not work. All right.
Well,
let's not go deep into it.
Anyways, we're done talking about California. Thank you, Shane. This is your fault.
I just wanted to talk about the world, and I thought it was interesting to get to see that. Come on, All right. Who doesn't want to see a dystopian future? Come on.
I don't want to see it.
Let's talk about something better. Let's talk about Karen Gillan's boobs. How about that?
Let's talk about Karen Gillan's boobs.
Yeah, even better.
Karen Gillan, the gorgeous Karen Gillan. If you remember her, she plays Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy. She was also in Doctor Who as Amy Pond. And she was in Jumanji with The Rock.
I really liked her in Jumanji.
Yeah, she's awesome. She was also in a show called Selfie with the guy from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. I forgot his name. Really good. Really good actress. Really fun. Beautiful. Chipper. Really fun. Well, this newest poster came out. Guardians of the Galaxy poster. And I'm gonna show it to you guys. Oh my god, it's so silly. This Guardians of the Galaxy, I swear to God, I thought this was photoshopped.
I'm disappointed because I still think it's photoshopped. I just keep looking at it and I keep looking at what she's saying and I just don't believe it.
Yeah. So originally we got this from, I think it was from one of the Salty Nerd guys, right? Or Neurotic or something?
Who? Oh, no, it's been running around Twitter. I don't
know. Yeah, but someone originally shared it. I remember showing it to you and be like, what the hell is this?
I saw it all over. It was all over Twitter.
All right.
I'm sure they did too. We actually retweeted it as well.
Oh, so this is the poster. All right. So some fundamental issues here. First off, Nebula is clearly a dude. That's just not.
Well, it's not okay. Yeah,
that's not a woman.
Well, the reason why this is weird,
or it's not feminine shape. That's for sure.
Okay, and I'm not even worried about the feminine shape. I'm just like, I'm not saying that I need specifically her to be a femininely shaped thing. It's just that Karen Gillan naturally has assets, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And they're missing. Now, they're not. This is weird. She said that she did the pose. She chose this pose. She doesn't really address the chest area. She doesn't address it in the column that got brought up. But she says she chose it and she thought she looked cool. She didn't realize the internet was going to get so upset at the way she posed. It's like she ignores the fact that the reason they're mad is because it looks like they photoshopped her chest out. Her woman chest is gone.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, just pull up a picture of her.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
On the internet and just be like,
all right, so there's Karen Gillan in Jumanji. There she is in Jumanji.
Okay, well, yeah, just stop there. Okay, there's fine. Okay. Now, if you look at that and then you look at this, is there any way to put them next to each other? Probably not.
The thing is, it's not just her lack of chest area, but like her shape is not there. Like she has a larger torso area. This is clearly photoshopped.
I would argue that may not be her body.
Yeah, it might not even be her body.
I'm concerned that we've been duped somehow here. And not that it matters an incredible whole lot. I mean, how many times have you... I mean, listen, it's not hard to put somebody else's head on somebody else's body. Right?
No, yeah, I do it all the time.
You know what's funny is, what if there was no point here? A lot of people are saying like, oh, this is like because of the wokeness and they're trying to send us a message here. What if Karen wasn't around and they just stuck her head on top of somebody else's? Like, look, guys, we got to get this shot done. Okay. They didn't consider her breastages.
Well, you know, what's funny is it sort of looks like James Gunn's brother's body almost. Like it can totally be his brother's body. But why wouldn't they just use Nebula?
I would argue
Gamora's body then.
I would argue that Chris there in the middle has a more feminine body than.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. He used to be in the first two movies. He was like ripped, and now he's not. I don't understand this. Like
he might be lean. Who knows? He might be lean.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to tell on a t-shirt. But here's the thing: you cannot hide boobs under there like that. Now, can we pull up an image of Nebula?
But look at the torso too, though.
It does. It looks. You know what it looks like? It does look like something was. It doesn't look like her body.
No, it's not her body. This is a man's torso.
It seems like a man's body, right? Now, she said she did the pose and she doesn't address the boobs, but I'm just like saying, like, look, I don't know if maybe when she show that one, if that's fake, maybe she's got push-ups in there or something. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't have very large breasts.
No, I mean, it's not like she has huge breasts, but like in her previous incarnation of Nebula, her figure.
My point is, can you look like that? Can she fit into that? Like realistically, can she look like that?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Can she look like that in reality without?
Here, someone did a comparison already. Here, look. Here we go. Here's a comparison. There you go. That was last movie. This is this movie.
Something's not right, guys. And I think, and I'm not saying it's necessarily specifically nefarious, although it wouldn't surprise me.
Even the face sort of looks masculine, right?
Well, no, I don't know.
No, the face does look like the eyes are a little thinner, the cheekbones are not as high. No, the face looks more masculine too.
That's her eyes, dude. No, that's her. That's her face.
No. The face looks more masculine for sure. I'm not crazy.
Not to me. I think you're just looking at it along with the body. I mean, I don't think that it's a different head. I don't think it's a completely different person standing there. Okay. I think they popped her head on top of somebody else's body.
Yeah, damn, right? She looks great on the right. Jesus. Damn, Nebula. Get it.
I mean, my point is like, I'm just trying to make a point here that something's wrong. And either it's one of two things. Okay, it's one of three things. Either this really is Karen Gillan and somehow the way they dressed her up just made her boobs disappear. Or number 2, it's not Karen Gillan, and they put a body double in there because for whatever reason she couldn't be there on the day of the shoot, which seems weird. Like, why would she lie? And number 3, they did it on purpose for some sort of woke agenda that they want this character to be more non-binary. Is that it? Or non-androgynous? Right? Would you say those are the 3 different things that it could be?
Yeah, I think that it's entirely possible that they photoshopped it to make it more androgynous.
The whole point is, could they have hidden, and you haven't answered this question yet, could they have hidden her boobs behind this? Could she still be there? Or is it just impossible? You're a Photoshop expert.
No, yeah, of course. No, I can make the right one look like a man's body with Photoshop. For sure.
Okay, so
I can eliminate the boobs. I can lengthen the torso. 100%. I can make it look more masculine. Yeah.
No, but my point is I'm saying, is it possible that is still her?
It's possible it's her that someone modified. That's
not. No, I'm non-modified. I'm saying unmodified. Is it possible that's her?
No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not.
From your Photoshop expert opinion.
No, it's not. And Dork Knight, who's also a Photoshop guy, said those are two completely body types.
But I want your opinion right now.
My opinion is that's not the same body type. That's not the same body.
Listen, members of the court, jury, you've heard from the expert. There's something wrong with that picture.
I mean, it literally is my job. Like, my day job is graphics like this. That is not the same body. Those are not the same body. Period. The end. The torso is too long. It's too wide. It's not just the fact there's no boobs. Like, okay, maybe she didn't have push-up bra on this one or whatever. Her torso is different. Her hips, there's no hips. There's no hips on this body. There's no hips.
Right. There's no hips.
The torso's wide and elongated. This is a man's torso. This is a woman's torso. Remove the idea of, let's say she had a push-up bra on one and she doesn't have a chest. That doesn't matter. Bottom line is, you can't change the shape of her body, right? Unless using Photoshop. That's a man's body. That's a woman's body.
Can you pull up one of the trailers?
Sure.
Let's find out what kind of nebula we're going to get. John Burns, $5 super chat. Thank you, John. Stop saying eliminate the boobs. Blasphemy.
Yeah, there was another super chat. I didn't find it.
They're natural. Listen, the female people of this planet, they get them naturally. And some of the men who eat too much food also get them. So...
Oh, yeah, we need to do a poll. You're right. Thank you for that.
Oh, yes, a poll. Are they real or are they fake? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Photoshopped or not? I'm with you. I'm with Danny the Dork Knight on this, but I wanted to hear Brian's opinion before he started passing it off to somebody else. I wanted to hear his expert thoughts.
All right, ready? Real body or Photoshopped?
Yeah. Which one is it? Because I got to tell you guys, if Guardians of the Galaxy ends up being anything other than amazing as the first 2 were, if the third one lays an egg, I'm going to be really pissed off at James Gunn.
All right, let me see if I can get that trailer without breaking copyright again.
It's not right. Do a poll. Does Nebula have a poll? Great. Some of you guys have some really good wit.
Some of you guys are hilarious, dude. Sometimes I rewatch our streams and I just read the chat.
Yeah, if we miss you guys, we do check it out later. So, and also remember, if we're not engaging with you guys in the chat here, when we do go to the member section, our primary concern is to engage the chat there. So we will talk with you directly with everything going on.
Okay, I have the trailer. There she is. Yeah, so that's a feminine body. You see her hips? Do you see her hips?
I can barely see her back there. Okay.
Well, I mean, if I can't play too much here, let me see.
I mean, even if you got it on a still shot, it's fine.
I'm trying.
Because there's moments with her where she's close up. I think there's a scene where Gamora says, "Seems like you'd be more like her type" or something.
Let me take it off.
Wait, go back. Side view.
What?
The shot you just had up showed us a side view.
No, it didn't.
It did.
That was Gamora did.
No, all the way down the line of all the characters, you could see her side.
Let me play it. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh.
Copyright claims suck. I'm the only one have to deal with them, not you. So it's a pain in the ass.
I know. Just pull up the still, though. You know, no, you don't have to run
What still? I gotta find the still, Shane. I can't.
You had it. You just went off the screen. It was sitting right there. So whatever you were at.
So I didn't see what you were saying, I guess.
Well, while we're doing that, yeah. So if you guys have seen the trailer, we basically, oh, there it was. Okay. So if you have seen the trailer, then you know that Gamora doesn't remember anything, right? So coming up in this show, it's going to be, she doesn't remember. And then you have this moment where Star-Lord, like she just suggests that Star-Lord would be more into Nebula.
Because she never met Peter. She's the other version, 2014 version. Yeah.
Right. And so Peter has this moment where he actually looks at Nebula and was like he's going to make a move on her right then or to go to kiss her or something. She's like, "What are you doing?" It's pretty funny. John Burns, $2 super chat. Photoshop a tear rolling down Bautista's cheek. Well, if you want that, then you need to go watch A Knock at the Cabin because you'll get plenty of Bautista.
I just realized the High Evolutionary is in this movie, and the same actor that plays the butterfly guy in Peacemaker.
Huh? Oh, really?
Yeah. What a coincidence. I'm not getting any good shots here, bro.
There was a shot. We'll play it back. It was just before you pulled it off the screen. They were all lined up, and you could see her. And anyways,
are you talking about the shot that I literally opened with, and you were like, get a closer shot?
Just before you took the shot off of the screen for everybody to look at, it was that scene that was happening.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So anyways, there's a shot. You could see her, the swell of her breast
this
out.
Shot?
No, you went forward.
I'm gonna
before you took it off and came back to us.
There was nothing, bro. There no other.
Yep. It's maybe a split-second shot, but it was up. You'll see it there.
Okay, I'm not seeing it. It's the only full body shot I can find.
It's the whole. You see all of them. You see her down a line. You see her down. You see her at the end, and you can see her.
All right. Well, this is taking too long. I don't know where's that. Bottom line is this is the only shot I got that I can find right now.
So if you rewind it about 3 minutes, just before Brian took it off the screen, it was there for a split second. Pause it. You can see the swell of her breast in her uniform, and it just does not look like this picture that's here at all. So,
yeah, I don't know about that, but I can tell here that's a feminine body, and that's not the same body that was on.
That's on the picture. Yeah,
it's on the picture. Yeah, it's not. Oh, someone's mad because Worf is in our thumbnail.
Someone's mad because he was in the thumbnail?
Yeah, I guess Worf is in our thumbnail.
What's the problem with that?
Is that a
just because Worf's on the thumbnail doesn't mean that you know anything about the story.
Yeah.
We put Worf on a lot of thumbnails.
Yeah, we put him on everything. Worf's are one of our favorite things to put in the thumbnail. Worf and Beverly Crusher.
If you didn't know Worf was going to be in this show, also that's a problem. Probably.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's just photoshopped, and we're not going to read the article. But basically, the article says that she chose her pose, and that she, why is everyone mad about it? Well, because you're lying, or someone changed your shot afterwards. But I don't really care what she does. I just want to sort of know. I don't know why. Now, it's entirely possible. Maybe it's a spoiler.
Explain.
Maybe there's a sport. Maybe there's something in the movie that like indicates a different character or something. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. So it could be a feint. That's interesting. But why would they troll us?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? That's so trolly. If that's the case, they'd be like, "Hey, we're going to troll all the people who hate wokeness, and we're going to stick a guy Nebula up on the poster."
Yeah.
I mean, I just hope that's not the case.
Yeah. Just look at the hips. Look at the hips. They're right there. You don't gotta look at the rest. Just look at the hips. She
We
passes
don't
the
care what characters you put up. Just don't mess with us.
She passes the pants swell test in the footage. Yeah, she does.
Don't mess with our minds. And the reason why people are upset about it, hey, dear Hollywood, by the way, because this is happening to a lot of the content in Hollywood. There's this degenderization, this conglomerating together of man and woman shapes because everybody wants to be less. Because being feminine is a problem, apparently. So, or being too masculine is a problem.
What drives me nuts is like, okay, so you take all the male characters, or a lot of them, and you like go out of your way to find like convoluted ways of changing the gender, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're all like, all right, why'd you do that? What are you doing? We've been watching that character for years. Oh, damn it! And then we find there's a couple good, there's some good female characters that we like. And now you're doing the same thing. Like, what are you doing? Stop it! Why are you doing this? There's no real reason for it. It's just to bother us. Oh,
yeah,
man.
So we'll see.
Yeah, maybe
Anyways,
it's a good point. Maybe she's an android, right? So maybe she just changed her entire body.
Maybe there's an answer, but the question is like, there should be an answer for this. If the character is going to change that much, there needs to be a reason.
Well, according to the poll, 12% of you say it's real, and I'm assuming you have vision problems, and the other 88% of you say it's shopped.
I mean, I honestly asked the question because I'm not a girl. I don't know about hiding those things. I mean, maybe it's possible there's a chest piece in there that's I don't know.
Well, it's less about the chest and more about the hips, bro. You can't hide them hips.
If you look along the left side of the shirt, okay, if you follow the left side of the shirt down, that screams Photoshop to me.
Yeah, because it's too straight.
Can you pull it up
again?
One more time?
I already.
Yeah, so they can see it, what we're talking about. If you guys look down the left side of the shirt, that is not how a body works. And even the best Photoshoppers in the world can't make it perfectly. If you look down the left-hand side, I got a really nice close-up of it.
It's too straight. Here, but, it's too straight.
You know, right down there by the hip line, you know, by that bottom part right there, it's very. I don't know, why do I get a nice close-up on the website?
I don't know. Yeah, it's I
scrolled down.
It's shot for sure. It's definitely shot. Okay.
All right. Well, so we'll yet to see Guardians of the Galaxy comes out next month. March, right?
I don't even know.
Yeah, it hits theaters. Oh, May 5th.
Yeah, May 5th.
One day after Star Wars Day.
Huh. Okay. All right, let's do one more topic before we go. Yeah.
Yeah. What else you want to talk about? Let's figure out what we got here.
Wait. No, actually, we can't yet. We have. Oh no, we want to say these two. Oh well. Okay. All right. So what we have Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, and Seth MacFarlane. Which one you want to do here on this side?
I guess we can talk Seth.
And we'll do the Shazam and Aquaman on the inside, right?
Sure.
Yeah, because those are the fun fake news Fridays. Oh, these are all fake news. These are all fake news Fridays. This is gonna be fun.
Oh, you know what we didn't do this week?
Huh.
We didn't do the weekly Terry.
I mean, well, because like the first 2 hours is like a giant weekly Terry. That's probably why.
That's true. And we don't really have any news for it, but when we do have Terry Metalis news, we will do the weekly Terry.
Yeah, we will. Okay, so let's talk about. Oh man, I was recording the whole thing. Let's talk about Seth MacFarlane and the Orville. And if you don't know what this is Fake News Friday. And one of our favorite rogues from our rogue gallery is back. Giant freaking robot. And let's be real here. I don't necessarily disagree with this. When it says Seth MacFarlane is ditching the Orville to make a comic book show. First off, I don't think Seth MacFarlane is ditching the Orville. Do I think Seth MacFarlane is making more Orville? Not right now. So that part is semi-correct. but leaving this is like a very salacious headline: ditching the Orville to make a comic book show. I don't know what they're talking about, but they're referring to The Shrouded College, a popular graphic novel for television. He is almost entirely focused on Ted, and I was looking into this, and I couldn't find any real backup for this other than Deadline talked about his production company possibly working on this show, not Seth MacFarlane. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's embarrassing because, you could almost say anything. It could be like, okay, for example, you could say Superman, right? You could say because he's not Superman anymore, you could say he's ditching this to do this, right?
Right.
It's just not necessarily true. When you write a headline, there's like a responsibility to what you put out there. Like if you're saying by saying he's ditching the Orville, you're saying he doesn't want to do the Orville. Like Seth has an intention of, I hate the Orville. I don't want to do it. I'm ditching it. When you ditch something, you got to get rid of it because you can't get away from it.
Yeah. It's like, here's an example.
Know your headlines.
Let's say you have like an 8 bag of weed and there's a cop that pulled you over. You got to toss it out quick. That's called ditching your weed. Like ditching, you gotta ditch your stash quick so that the cop doesn't find it when he searches your car.
What literally ditching means running away from something that doesn't know you're running away from it. Like when you ditch somebody, you're trying to lose them without them knowing that you're trying to lose them.
Right.
Like, is he trying to like ditch the Orville like TV show? Is he like, hey, I see you guys over there. Like, we're getting ready to maybe do another show, but yeah, I'm going to go over here and check out this comic book instead. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And then he fucking never shows up again. Right. It's like, right. That's not what he's doing, guys. Listen, the reason that why the Orville is not being made right now is because it's an expensive damn show. He's working on Ted,
right,
which is a priority, and the Orville's super expensive. Now they're having meetings. They recently had meetings about it. No answer what that means. Disney executives, fuzzy door people about the Orville moving forward. Don't know if it was good. Don't know if it was bad. There's some people who seem to think that good Orville news will come. But let me tell you something. Orville stuff's not going to happen until Ted's happening. Like until Ted's going and they figure out where that's going to happen. Now, maybe after Ted, we come back to Orville, maybe. But as of right now, that's it. He's just not ditching the Orville, though. It's ridiculous. And, shame on you guys over there at Giant Freaking Robot. I mean, what the hell are you guys thinking? I mean, I literally am going through the news and Google, you guys got to do something about this. Like how you guys collate the news. There was at least 4 or 5. I feel like all of these Engadgets, Directs, fan-sided, Giant Freaking Robot, all these like borderline news sites are getting a lot of attention in the headlines. And it's hard to tell and trust what's right and what's not right. But this is, as Brian said, Fake News Friday.
Yeah, and here's the deal. We do know that I think they're getting part of that information from the fact that Ted wrapped, because Seth MacFarlane announced that Ted wrapped filming. But that doesn't mean they're done. It's like there's filming and there's like post-production, there's final photography. There's so much more to it. And Seth has made a reputation of being involved in every aspect of the show.
Right.
So he's still doing Ted. I don't care.
Well, he's not going to kick the fires on Orville if he's not sure what's the status of Ted is going to be either.
Right.
Likely. Because he's not going to fully envelop himself into both shows. I mean, he can show up for Family Guy and do some voices and leave. He doesn't have to be involved in every aspect of it. But in Orville, he does. I mean, he's like the creative lead. He's the writer. He's everything. Ted, same thing. So he just can't do both at the same time. Right, Ryan?
Right. I mean, historically, he doesn't do that. But yeah. So yeah, more Fake News Friday. So with that, we wanted to drop that information. We wanted to go through it. What they say here in the article is not. I mean, you can go look it up. It's on Giant Freaking Robot. They don't say much more than what we just said, but I'll tell you their article verbatim here real quick. The Shrouded College is part of a deal between Seth MacFarlane and NBC Universal. that would see the creator earning a whopping $200 million over 5 years. The deal came after McFarlane became publicly disillusioned with his longtime association with the 20th Century Fox, at one point saying he was embarrassed to work for the company. Not the same company anymore. Just
he. By the way, he was when it was Fox.
Yes, when it was Fox. Now it's Disney.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so there's always problems in Giant Freaking Robots articles. Like they write everything as if it's like this is fact. This is all peer reviewed, 100% sourced information. Look at this. But it's like all just nonsense. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was being written by like ChatGPT or something.
You know what? You forgot the last line on the story. It was, let me read it here for you. You clicked. Yes. Thank you. Cha-ching.
I was like, what line is that?
That was the end of the article.
Yeah, it's just wild. This whole thing is wild. And we have a couple of new, in the member section, we're going to be talking about the Fake News Friday from the Direct. And then we're going to finish with Fake News Friday from Giant Freaking Robot. Because apparently Giant Freaking Robot has an exclusive Aquaman test screening so bad that the test screeners walked out.
Well, and we'll also, whatever you guys want to talk about over there, we'll have some time. We'll just chat. Let's have a good talk together.
Okay. That said, we are going to the members section, my friends. If you want to know.
Thank you guys for coming out here. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm just going to say thank you guys for coming out here for the live show. We appreciate it. Of course, come back next Thursday, same time. We're going to be showing, we'll be doing Picard season 3 and all kinds of great stuff. Kind of a slow news week. I mean, we could have talked, China, telling their people they're going to go to war, but I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, or Russia getting rid of a nuclear treaty, but maybe this is time for a little escapism and we won't go into that. But if you guys ever want to talk about that kind of stuff, let us know and we'll try to throw a little bit of it in.
Can I ask you a serious question?
Sure.
Why would anyone ever want to talk about those things?
I had to explain it to my kids. I wanted them to understand because they're hearing this stuff, and and it scares them a little bit.
So depressing.
So I did want to talk to them about it, and all I'll say is a whole lot of saber rattling going on out there, guys. So don't take everything these countries say seriously. Just no.
Okay, guys. So we're going to the member section real quick. In case, just to help out PJ from Marvel Nation, if you guys see this now and later on when it's a clip, please go and tweet on Nation_Orville's behalf, and we need to get his account unsuspended. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he tweeted a GIF that wasn't even negative or anything. It's weird. Do you even understand what happened?
I don't know exactly what happened. PJ had to explain it to us, but it wasn't even a tweet. It was like a DM. It's obviously a mistake. It's obviously a mistake.
Yeah, they need to fix it.
And of all the people to get banned, how is it that PJ gets banned?
Nicest guy around.
All of us has done. We've all done so much worse. All right, listen. We are going to the members section. Okay, you can get there in the chat. You'll see that link, or you can click the link in the top of the description. Or you can literally do nothing and wait for the thing to end, and it will just take you there. Regardless, if you want to be part of the members section, please come on over. It's like a cup of coffee is what it costs every month to join us, and we have fun every week. So come on over. If not, that's cool, and we'll see you next week.